at every moment in his life when things kind of fell apart, he instantly retreated to the wilderness. That's the first thing he did. When his father died when he was 19 at Harvard, first thing he did was go to Maine. Flattered by that in Maine. And wound up spending the winter in Maine, hunting, fishing, and trapping in the state in northern Maine, Kentucky, and started a lifelong friendship with his guide, which, those of you in the room who've hunted and fished your whole lives know about that sort of weird, almost holy relationship you can have with a guide that can extend the entire course of your life. The person we have a couple in our family's life who are at our Thanksgiving dinner table. That's how close it is. The relationships that you build with people through sports of hunting and fishing are not like other relationships at all. And you see it in the people. I met a ton of people before giving the speech, and I have to say the women are very pretty. But I would say about 60% had cross necklaces, which is, I'm just going to say it, my favorite thing. You approach me with a cross necklace on, I love you. Not only because you remind me of my wife who wears one, because it symbolizes what's to me, but it shouldn't be surprising that a group dedicated to serving God's creation would be wearing a necklace like that, because the connection between people and the land is really a connection between people and the eternal, in my opinion. And no, it is. If the most important thing to you is God's creation, it tells you a lot about who you are. And I have to say, like Teddy Roosevelt, I've lived half as an exciting life as Teddy Roosevelt, who's literally, as everyone famously knows, in 1912, while giving a campaign speech, running for president, a campaign he never should have run. Even a man as great as Teddy Roosevelt was subject to hubris. But he's giving a speech, and a man called John Strunk walked up and shot him point blank with a .38. The gun might carry, I think, a lot of people. I think it's a pretty robust cartridge. But somehow his glasses case stopped him, and he spent the rest of his life, he lived over 7 years, with that .38 slug in his flesh, and gave the speech anyway after being shot. Imagine the kind of man it would take to give a speech, a 90-minute speech while bleeding with a .38 slug. And I think, can I do that now? No. I've been shot! He was running the Bull Moose ticket that year, and instead of saying, I've been shot, he looked calmly at the crowd and said, it's going to take a lot more than that to kill a bull moose. Which, I can tell you, as someone who lives in Maine, is true. Hard to kill a bull moose with a .38. But still so impressive. But one of the things about his life that has resonated with mine is that when things get bad, you retreat to the wilderness. And when things started to get super crazy for us in Washington, the city that most people lives in, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, our first instinct was to move to the town of New Country, in Maine, not in coastal Maine, Lighthouse and Lobster Roll Maine, but the macaroni and cheese fentanyl Maine in Canada. And, which we love. An area where literally the only reason to live there is if you love nature. There's nothing else there. There's nothing. I was sitting next to Cabela's, and I got super enthusiastic about their store in a way that I think made them uncomfortable. Because I was such a fanboy about it, but because when we got at Cabela's, 2 hours south of me in Scarborough, Maine, everyone in my town of 100 people was like, they got a Cabela's in southern Maine. No one goes to southern Maine because people you don't want to be around live. But the whole town made the pilgrimage to buy cheaper ammo and sporting clays at the store. And that's not surprising because why would you live there otherwise? So to live in a world of people who really don't have a lot, I mean, actually, the town I live in is more than any other city neighborhood in the United States, literally, per capita. I mean, there are 2 houses, walking distance from my house without money. I've got 2 people who work for me who rush everywhere. Our state is just failed. And so this is a legitimately, it's one of the poorest counties not on an Indian reservation in the United States. But it's a pretty happy place, actually. And I've always thought that it was happy not because anyone's thriving, there are no jobs, and drug use is endemic, and that's, of course, really sad that kills a lot of people. There's kind of no excusing that. But if you talk to people there, they are a city, you could be twice as rich, you could be 10 times as rich in a city and not be as happy as the people who are standing outside our gas station in the oldest store in town, watching the bear hunters come in September. Maybe you have to take the tooth out and give it to the lady at the cash register to tag. And so there are trucks out front every morning, people are comparing bears, dead bears. Everyone's like, pulling up the teeth and kind of hoping they're still dead. Then yanking them out and bringing in the lady who's like collecting teeth. And then you buy the little shots of Allen coffee, brandy, and generic cigarettes to celebrate. And, it's a very culturally specific place. Those of you from Wisconsin can kind of relate. Less beer in the morning, more liquor, but whatever, it's the same vibe. And everyone's happy. And there's not one person there with health insurance. I don't know. There isn't. I mean, that's real. I don't know. I'm not aware of any dentist within a 20-minute, 20-mile, 25-mile drive from where I live. And everyone lives on well water. So the combination of very hard well water with all kinds of minerals and no dentist is pretty intense, as you can imagine. And I'm not mocking. I'm marveling at how rooted and happy people are. I'm not just guessing. I'm not a passerby. I've been in the same town for 50 years, so I've sort of seen this, and I've seen it collapse. Economically, truly collapse as the Dow Mills were not products business moved to Canada. The economic changes, the globalization that really wrecked America. No. But what's so amazing is that the spirit of decency remains, and that is directly tied to, it is a product of the connection that people have with nature. That is not just the saving grace, it's the whole point. It's the whole point. If you are highly aware of the natural world, if you have a deep relationship with animals, then you're a different person from the people who don't. It's just true. I hunt with dogs. I hunted with my dogs yesterday, and I'm not going to talk about my wife always says, no one wants to hear about your dogs. And I think people really do want to hear about my dogs, actually. And she always says, ever been on a plane and some like half-drunk person pulls up pictures of their grandchildren? They're all kind of weird looking, and you have to pretend they're cute. Yeah, I hate that. She's like, that's what it's like when you talk about your dogs. Everyone's like, oh, your dogs are so interesting. So I'm not going to tell you about my two Flushing dogs, the two probably best grass dogs in Maine, best quail dogs in Florida, Springer and an English Cocker, incredible animals, lifetime dogs, Brookie and Alice, amazing. But I hunt them, let's be honest, multiple times a week. And we were just talking, the Cabell and I was talking at dinner about how when you hunt with dogs, you're not really hunting. The dogs are hunting. And you come home and take credit for it. I killed this or that. You know what I mean? A mountain lion, bear, in my case, a grayler, a grouse, or a pheasant, or whatever. Chukar. I'm not above hunting chukar birds. Anyway. And, I shot this, I shot that. And 28 is actually supposed to 20 and all. But it's all kind of a lie. Your dogs did that. And in so doing, you had this relationship with these animals that transcends the moment. In fact, it transcends the era. This is the only carnivorous animal human beings have ever domesticated. We're not even sure how or why people domesticated dogs, but we know for a fact since the beginning of any kind of human civilization, people have lived with dogs. They're not cave paintings. They're in graves. And why is that? Well, who knows why? But it's only through the experience of hunting with them that you begin to maybe understand the roots of that. And the main thing that you learn when you hunt with dogs, and you don't learn this any other way, is that the distance between people and animals is a lot narrower than we imagine that it is. And I don't think people who don't hunt, who don't work with animals, understand that. I don't know how they could. It's a completely different experience to come home to one of those weird hybrid dogs that everyone has now that are part poodle. I don't know what they're called, but they're supposedly better for your furniture or something. I don't know, whatever. I'm sure they're fine. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to say it. But if you come, I know I'm being mean. I can't control myself. Remember, talk show host, okay. But if you have a dog at home, and I've had them all my life, many of them, 4 at a time. And that's wonderful. But the experience of working with the dog, hunting with the dog, sharing a mission with the dog, communicating with the dog while working in nature brings you insights into yourself, into people, into the natural natural order, the hierarchy of living things, and I would say into God, that you would never have otherwise. We flatter ourselves, it's us and then all the animals. And I do think that people who live in cities and ban hunting because it's mean to animals are speaking out of such ignorance that it's hard to even take it seriously. What do what's a deciduous versus a conifer? Name 3 bird species. Do you know anything about nature? Nothing. And it's only from that position of ignorance that they can issue decrees like we're banning all hunting because it's mean to animals. And the response from people who hunt is like, where do you think food comes from? And they always say that. Where do you think food comes from? It comes from animals, right? Protein comes from animals. But I would take it even the next step, which is to say, like, shh, adults are talking. You have no idea what you're talking about. You literally have no idea. You're so ignorant. I mean, the first rule of politeness is to be quiet when you don't know what the adults are talking about. And we should enforce that. I don't think the clever retorts about, you need hunting, you need animals. No. Be quiet. And by the way, stay away from our power grid. You don't understand that either. You belong in the sociology department of a community college, and that's fine. They can sort of wall you off, and, they say keep Austin weird or something. That's what they mean. People with elaborate earrings who work in a community college, that's totally fine. You're in your little lane. But stay away from the things that keep civilization going. Like energy and infrastructure and air travel. Like agriculture. And yes, like hunting and fishing. Because you just don't know. And that's fine. You live a spiritually impoverished life alone. Your only human contact is with the DoorDash guy and Netflix. And I'll pray for you. But you get precisely zero power in our society. Because you will destroy it because you're dumb. And you don't know how dumb you are. No, you can't have my firearms. What? I'm not going to give them to my 5-year-old. I'm not giving them to you either. Back off. And so I guess what I'm really saying, I don't want to go on too much about what you already know, which is that hunting, the importance of hunting and fishing go far beyond the number of fish you catch or the moose you shoot. Though it is inherently beautiful, but I literally live in a house where my grandfather's doll sheep hangs over my reading chair, which he shot freshman year in Yale. He was the pistol champion at Yale. Great, amazing shot. He promptly became a chronic alcoholic and achieved literally not one thing for the rest of his life. No, like literally not one thing. He was a disgraceful man. But in his younger years, he shot this animal, which has graced our living room. 100 years ago we shot this. And that's kind of enough, actually. He brought this beautiful thing from nature into my house, and that, and of course, his genes produced me, and then my children, and so I'm grateful for that. His genetic contribution, made doubtless well drunk. But I said to my wife, I made fun of my grandfather. I didn't, of course, really know because he was drunk, but I'm grateful for what he left me, which is this animal head, or several animal heads. And, that suffices for me, actually, because they're so beautiful. And they're a reminder of the world beyond my iPhone, which is the real world. It's the actual world. The world that AI can't touch. No doll sheep knows what AI is. No doll sheep is mad at Mark Zuckerberg for stealing the last election. They would be if they knew, but they don't. And that's kind of beautiful. In fact, it's the only thing that's beautiful. And the people who do it and who understand that are better people. And I hate to say any one group is better than another, but it's just true. And I know that because I've been around it my entire life. My moments in duck camp with my dad and my brother were the happiest moments of my childhood. And my moments in the field with my brother and my son and my nephew and my son's wife, who somehow convinced to shoot. I don't see a lot of that, ladies in the field, but I love hunting with her. And those moments are the happiest moments in our family. And we're fanatical for life, children too, and we've been, obviously around the world fishing. But that is my family, is being outdoors with them. And so it makes all the difference, but it's under attack in ways, and this is where I'll stop and take those 2 questions, which I look forward to, but I'm so grateful for you all because you're fighting this battle on the federal front, the government, large landowner in the United States, and I think that's absolutely essential. Of course it is, and it's also very complicated and very difficult, also incremental, I can say, some of the process. For decades in Washington, no victory is permanent. These are won a little bit at a time. Nothing is an absolute victory. It's a little bit like the First World War. You win, but you don't really win. There's another war 20 years later. So that's the nature of influencing government. But I don't think that those are the only threats. I want to suggest two other threats that we never acknowledge, particularly those of us on the right. Let's be honest, I am on the right, but I identify that way, I guess. But the world has changed so much that I think a lot of us who are middle-aged need to update our files a little bit on what the big threats are. And of course, in the West, it's a completely different story. I live in a state where there's almost no government land and no real property rights. If you just walk onto someone else's land and they kill all their animals. So it's a completely different world than, say, take a whatever. But
oh shit.
the two other threats that people don't mention, one is development. And conservatives never want to mention this because they're for free enterprise. And a lot of them are developers. And I think a lot of some development's great. People need a place to live. And I think housing prices are one of the most important questions in people's lives, right? But I also think it is fair to say, and conservatives never say it, that not all development is the same. And if you come into my pretty nature-centered town with 19th century buildings and build something really ugly, made out of plastic, that makes the landscape, it's basically spray painting a Rembrandt. If you make the landscape uglier where I live, then you're mad at me. Sorry. And no one wants to say that, but I don't know why. Beauty is essential. It's as essential, I would say, over time, as air or water or food. We can't really live fully as humans without it. We will be diminished without it. We punish our most dangerous citizens by putting them in concrete cells alone without beauty. If you wonder how important beauty is, and anyone who hunts for fishes knows, that a huge part of the experience is the stream itself, regardless of the massive fat square-tailed brook trout that reside in the rainforest flat. The field itself, running doll sheep at altitude. It's like the mountains are a huge part of it. The solitude is a huge part of it. God's creation. I was stuck in New York City for years in my grim television job trying to pay private school tuition, none of which was worth it, I would say. And I was stuck there on the weekends for 4 years and I had no outlet because I was in Midtown Manhattan, which really is offensive against humanity. And so I would trudge with my fly rod to Central Park to try and catch some of the radioactive diseased bass. And if you've ever, put together, a six-weight in Central Park, I mean, it's literally weirder and more offensive than, say, shooting heroin or mugging somebody in Central Park, both of which are just features of the landscape, and of course, it's mugging, it's drug use, forget it. What are you doing, you freak? And I was confronted repeatedly, but that's, of course, I hated the whole thing, but I needed to do it because you have to be in a place where human beings and their folly haven't made things uglier. You just have to, because you die inside. It's like that. And I think that's the story of every person, whether we recognize it or not. And so, again, anything that destroys the landscape thoughtlessly, development destroys the landscape, so it's necessary. But if there's no effort at all to preserve beauty, if everything is done purely to maximize the return for the people who did it, leaving behind the detritus, this ugliness that the rest of us have to live with for generations, then that's a crime. And we should say so. No, you're not allowed to build something like that. Sorry, you can't, because I live here. No, you can't build an industrial wind farm in the mountains that I look at. And if you're going to do that, we're going to find out if a 308 can take one down. And this is like a massive debate where I live. Would a 308 do that? It's pretty good right now around. Like, you can do it, right? No. 50 BMG minimum. I've never actually done it. I'm moving toward doing it. I will do it before I die. It's one of the, that little bucket list thing. You know what I mean? Vacation in Tahiti, Mile High Club, whatever's on yours, okay? Wow, I can't believe I said that. Sorry, I just revealed too much. But seeing if a 308 can actually stop an industrial wind turbine, yeah, that's on my list. It is, and I'm going to do that. And when I get taken to jail, I'm going to be a prisoner of conscience. I'm going to be the Julian Assange of Mr. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, I did it. And I did it for humanity. That's why I did it. But it's just interesting that, okay, so but this attack, and these are private companies from Canada doing wind live. And whenever you think of wind power, I'm not actually against wind power on some principle. Of course not. It's not a bad idea. And neither solar, not an inherently bad idea. I'm not that much of a crank. But it matters both whether or not it works. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. But it matters most of all to me what it does to nature. And if you're going to make the mountains around my house into industrial wind farms and destroy the view, I think it is totally fair for me to say you can't destroy the view. People are like, oh, well, why is the view? Why is that of significance as compared to, say, the profit that the Canadian private equity firm will make by destroying your town? So I actually think it's kind of more important. It is. It is. Beauty is more important than whatever the Canadian private equity firm is making. By the way, get out of my country. Okay? Scamper away. I don't think we should be ashamed to say that at all. And some massive, ugly housing development, how about you build a massive, beautiful housing development? And it costs you 20% more, but that's kind of the price of not destroying things. And we're going to demand that you do that. But we don't. We just sort of sit back and go, well, that's the free market. Well, no one's, I would say two things. One, I'm strongly for the free market. We should have one. We don't. We have an economy based on monopolies that exist because they have favor from the government. Period. That is right. And second, like, how far do we want to take the ideology here? I've got a bunch of kids, I'm sure everyone has a bunch of kids, because you kind of people have a bunch of kids, I've got a bunch of that. But if you're like, well, I'm not going to kind of raise or direct my kids as they grow up, sort of hoping, they arrive at a good place, it's kind of a free market as opposed to childhood, you're going to be visiting your kids in rehab. For real. That's not how you raise kids. You raise kids with intention. You don't have to be a fascist about it, but you have to clearly articulate, this is what our family stands for, these are our values, this is what we believe, this is what we do, what we don't do. Kids will cut breakfast table, sorry. We don't do that. We don't have a free market approach to that. You can't build another dollar store in my town. Like, no. And like, maybe I'll burn it down if you do. How's that sound? Because it's my town. Oh, you're so radical. Really? I'm the radical one? I rolled into your town and made it ugly? I don't think I did. I think you did that. I think you're the radical. And I'm responding in self-defense. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that with a little bit of menace. And I mean that. Because I think the stakes are that high. If you wake up, there are parts of this country that look nothing like they did 20 years ago. And I drive through them and I said, who built that? Where's the architect and why is he not in prison? People didn't build buildings like that 80 years ago. There wasn't one building in America that looked like that. Why are we doing that now? Why are we letting them do that? And rich people don't live like that. There's no building like that at the Yellowstone Club, in case you haven't been recently. Baker's Bay doesn't have a dollar store. No, it's true. The snickering ones have been to Baker's Bay, no dollar store. Because no one wants to live around that stuff. So why are we doing this to rural Americans who everyone knows in their hearts are the best people that we have? And they have the greatest claim on this country because they've been here the longest. Their families have been here the longest. And so why do this to them? Because we can? It's totally immoral. Hurting people because they don't have the power to fight back is the worst thing that you could do is beating an animal. But we do it, and no one says a word about it. And people hunt and fish should defend rural America. Not just America, but Americans. The people who live there. Because they are the best people. And they're hurting. And the second thing that we should be very concerned about is related to the first one, is population. So we spend a lot of winter in Southwest Florida, and amazing tarpon and redfish, and particularly snook fishing. Tarpon in the spring with snook all year round, huge snook, 40-inch snook. We'll try to catch we also have, over the last couple of years, really good native wildlife, which is kind of amazing considering that far south. So we have a huge range outside of Fort Myers, huge southwest range in Florida. Wonderful people, they've had it over 100 years. And they own bears, a great family. And, the land in Florida doesn't produce a lot. At this point, it's like citrus is dying, so it's cattle, of course. Breeding cattle, not raising. They go to Texas for that. But watermelons and sun. There's a lot out of the land. So they decided, how can, since we have so much land, maybe we could manage it for wildlife, which is very complicated. In Texas, whale are like a mystery of the universe. We don't really understand how they work. We can send a man to the moon, but we can't keep the bobwhite population healthy, right? Which is extremely distressing. I don't care about the moon. I care about bobwhite. But anyway, those are my priorities. But they have succeeded. The ranch managers and the 3,000-acre portion of this ranch, all of whom dip and drink Mountain Dew like first thing in the morning. Not one of whom finished high school, and all of whom are geniuses, have succeeded in bringing back wild Florida quail. When I jumped a movie yesterday morning, or I would say, my dogs jumped it was a flock of 30 birds. They did that. No one is going to give them a presidential medal if I ever get in the office. That's the first thing I'll do. But I thought, how did they do this? They did it because they have a lot of land, because they have space. Quail and all animals, actually, particularly game birds and big mammals, and smaller mammals, they need land, they need space. And in Florida right now, a lot is going on in Florida that's great. It's a refuge, for normal people, but it's also completely overburdened by people. And they're developing Florida without any thought. They've been doing this for 50 years, but right now it's accelerated in the last 3 years, particularly in the southwest part of Florida, so between Naples and Fort Myers. They're developing it heedlessly, and land is disappearing. And encumbered ag land, all kinds of weird tax encumbrances. It's like $10,000 an acre. There's so much pressure. And this one family says that we're not selling, and we're going to just create this amazing resource by bringing natural oil back. And I thought, that can't happen unless somebody decides that open space is worth it for its own sake, not just for quail hunters, but for everybody, for people who drive by, for the birds themselves, for migratory birds. And yes, even for the hated pigs. And I do hate the pigs, and I wish someone figured out how to shoot them more effectively during daylight, obviously. But I also sort of love the pigs. Because the pigs, which were, of course, originally domesticated animals, the hogs,
I'll be right back.
will use the whole landscape.
Huh?
We'll use the whole landscape. They don't care.
Alright, chicken is in the air fryer, and away we go.
Way smarter than almost any of my college roommates. And they're like the bison of the modern era. They roam free, despite all our attempts to pen them in and shoot them from helicopters with ARs. And by the way, I think you can kill the hog with 223, but sometimes you can, whatever the point is. Keeping land open and away from development, not because all development is bad, it's not. I'm not here for Earth First or something. Though, I don't dismiss all their priorities, not all. But anyway, the point is, that is essential. And it's going to be harder than ever because of population growth. Population growth is the one thing that nobody ever talks about.
Cruz Elroy.
And the only people who ever talk about population growth are like the crank anti-children people. Like, no one should have kids. I think Americans should have tons of kids. I only have 4, I should have 10. I want to be Catholic. And I really mean it. So I'm totally for children. I hate any attempts to convince people not to have children, because children are the only thing that matters, obviously, and Spaniels. But I'm not talking about population growth driven by happy Americans deciding they want to continue their line with a new generation. That's not happening. I'm talking about population growth from the rest of the world for duration. 10 million people in 4 years at least. And there's a huge debate about the legality of this. Our country's being invaded.
Oh, crap.
But people miss the most important fact of immigration, the bottom line number of the people who live here. And the doesn't matter what they're like. If every one of them, and I think a lot of them probably are great people, because I like people. I think we're all people. I probably like a lot of people who broke our law to get here, as mad as I am that they did it. Because I just like people. But at a certain point, it doesn't matter. The result is a crowded country. And I can tell you as someone who's been in a lot of countries, many countries around the world for a living for 30 years, you do not want to live in a crowded country. You just don't. And we never say that. Because we've never had to face it. Because even in our grandparents' lifetime, there are parts of the country that were kind of like unknown. And even now, there are parts of Maine I've never met anyone who's been there. I have a camp on a remote lake, there's no road to get there. I mean, there are still remote places in the United States, and many of you have hunted and fished in them. But that will end if this country becomes crowded. And the second thing that will happen, and inevitably does, it'll become physically dirty. And it's just so interesting that you are not allowed to see that. Really, what is the word? Triggers people. If you talk about littering. I think littering is one of the gravest crimes against humanity. I think the act of littering, throwing garbage into nature, should be punished with maximum physical severity. And I absolutely mean that. I'm not joking. And it's so interesting because it's the most profound act of disrespect against nature. It affects everybody else. You throw a bag of McDonald's out of your window or dump a gallon of motor oil into my trout stream. Other people, it's just too disrespectful against something that you didn't make. It's not yours to destroy. And what's so interesting is that I grew up in 1969. And had a very strong hunting and fishing culture. My family and in Golden Gate Park, there was a fly casting built during the 1930s. During the Great Depression, the WPA built and I passed it. Double-handed broadcasting and paper skagit and practice in a public park. That's how profound the sporting culture was in San Francisco in 1933. They thought it was a good use of public money to build a fly casting pond, not with fish in it, but just to see how far you cast the fly line and these are oiled sunflower. Imagine that today. Of course not. You couldn't even get a pickleball court built in a public park. So, in my childhood, the dominant PSA on television was the crying Indian. Do you remember this? It was supposed to make you feel guilty, white man, or whatever, for throwing your McDonald's out the window. And I did feel guilty. I hate white guilt. I'm just saying. It's poisonous things. They're great. But I'm all for that kind of guilt. You should feel guilty. Period. Turns out the guy in that was not even Indian, he was Sicilian. But the point was, hey, people have been here a long time, don't wreck it. And yet, for some reason, everyone feels so guilty, not about littering, but about telling other people not to litter, that nobody does. I think this is a really big deal. The beginning of my awareness of the natural world, before I was allowed to shoot a gun, cast a fly gun, just started growing up. Very young. But even before that, my awareness of the importance of maintaining natural beauty came from that stupid PSA that played for a million guitar. The crying Indian in his canoe with garbage floating by. Do you remember this? Yes! And I remember thinking, man, the worst thing that you can do is make the landscape ugly. That's the worst thing. I don't know who's doing that, but they should be executed. And I still feel that. And I mean it too. I think all the people are punished. People are still in jail from January 6th. There are no litterers in jail. Why is that? But it's not even if you don't have a medieval punishment mindset like I do. Even if you don't want to go full Saudi on the litterers. You have to acknowledge that a respect for the natural landscape is a key component of citizenship, of belonging to this country. Because what is this country, actually? A question we're going to have to ask ourselves increasingly in the coming years, as there's no majority of anything. nation. There are 50 components in this nation.
50-second board.
Which is the size of a continent. Bordered by this, frozen wasteland to the north and this chaotic drug cartel scene to the south. And then in the middle is this country we call the United States of America. Why are they united? It's on the basis of religion or race or even language now. So what is America? Well, I would argue it's not a lot of the things we say it is. What it really is America, the landscape.
I have to go check on the food.
It's physical America. This is the prettiest country on planet Earth.
I'll be right back.
I skied in Switzerland twice last month. Not big, I know, it was working, and I had to stop and say, okay.
Chicken wraps, delicious. Here we go.
I flew an Air Serbia coach, okay, so that just gives you a sense of how glamorous my life is. But whatever the point is, I was just in.
Oh my God. Wow.
Country, the Alpine Alps of Switzerland, famously beautiful. Not as pretty as stock. It's not as pretty. Nothing is as pretty as the United States of America. Nothing has deeper resources as the United States of America. Nothing has more fresh water than the United States of America. Fresh water, which we completely take for granted. The rest of the world is dying for it. They're building desal plants that they can't afford to run. We have the Great Lakes. We have more water than in Lake Baikal in Siberia. Like, we are so blessed by our resources. I'm not even mentioning our energy resources. Our mineral resources, which are immense. Our timber resources, they're incredible. Our ag resources. California. The Great Plains. No one has this. We have this. And no one appreciates it. Instead, we're talking about all the innovation in Silicon Valley and, like, the dumbest people, the ugliest place producing the most pointless products, and all we do is talk about it. And no one ever says anything about our real wealth, which is physical. And I guess if you live on your iPhone, you don't even notice the physical. You don't notice the McDonald's bag in the park. You don't notice the litter. You don't notice the filth. You don't notice the homeless guy dying of a fentanyl OD. You don't notice anything. You don't notice the actual pollution. All of your concerns are theoretical. Climate! We control the weather now. We're not saying we're God or anything. We just have to control the weather. Right? Okay, sure, shut up. You don't control anything. You're not even married. Be quiet. You can't even convince a woman to like you.
That's good.
Like, your achievement is, I slept with all these girls unmatched. I run some stupid app. Really? Make the same one happy for 30 years and get back to me. Then you're a man. Anyway.
Yeah, man.
Sorry. I'm completely out of control, but the point is...
Amazing.
What matters in America is right in front of our faces. It's what God gave us. It's the promised land that our ancestors inherited, were bequeathed. And to the extent that we preserve that, and not just preserve it, but celebrate it proudly, and the people who are blessed enough to live there, in these sad, dying little rural towns with the best people we have wasting away, we should protect them and the landscape around them. We should do it with pride and with maximum vigor. We should do it like Teddy Roosevelt would have done. So with that, I will stop and take your questions. Thank you. Oh, don't stand up! Come on!
Oh, crap. I'm in deep trouble now.
From a culture of cruelty and confrontation, so I hope someone will scream at me as a fraud or a climate criminal really quick so I can get back to the life I'm used to. Do you have any questions? I don't even know how long it went. Oh, you're talking about the tobacco-free nicotine product I use. No, I can't run. I probably shouldn't do it. No, I like a lot of people who hunt and fish a lot. I grew up using tobacco. My father's only instruction to us when we were kids was filters are bad. They clearly blocked the oxygen.
Crap.
And then he told us, he learned this in Marine Corps, that when you smoke straight, he smoked pommels, we smoke cans. He was like, when you finish it, you field strip it, and you roll up the paper in a bow and you flip away, then the enemy doesn't know you're an American. Pop, living away. What, always dipped always, like in a duck blind. Because you can't smoke the mittens, and it's freezing. It used to be freezing. So I always did Copenhagen, and I just kept doing it with my wife until I realized that actually women don't like it. I thought that was why. You know what I mean? One of the great sort of puzzles for men when they get married and then they have daughters is to discern between the things that women claim they don't like and the things they really don't like. And I'm not going to go through what those might be, but there are several. But in the actually don't like category is chewing tobacco. I noticed. And someone got married. He's like, how is it you just don't like it dip in bed? And I was like, well, that seems reasonable. I'm like not a feminist, okay? I actually believe in the patriarchy, and I think you should run your house like David and Solomon ran theirs. You know, I get it, but I do think that's a fair request. And he goes, I don't think she means it. I was like, no, she means it. She means it. Yes, they're not into it. I've been through this with your mother for about 33 years and not into it at all. And so anyway, but Zyn is quite a good option. I would say if you want life-enhancing effects of nicotine with carcinogens, and you want to feel the hand of God massage your sexual organs.
Oh, shit.
Not to oversell it, but I think it's a pretty good product. Yes, sir.
Oh, boy.
Yes. Yes. So the question was, you went to Russia, you met with your handler, Putin, paid
Holy
rubles,
smokes.
and
63rd.
and then you scampered back to the country you're working to subvert the United States, and you complained about American architecture as opposed to Russian architecture. How do you respond to the criticism? I think how you process it was the question, and the answer is I haven't really processed it because I've been on the road in multiple places since then. But I would just say the obvious, which is there are many things I am, not all of them good at all, but among those is American. I'm American. So I'm American. My parents, my family's been here, hundreds of years since the colonial period, and I have no other passport. I'm totally rooted here. For so I'm for America. I'm highly concerned about the people who run the country, not just officially, but the people who exert influence on the decisions that are made, and I don't think they're worthy of it. And one of the things that Teddy Roosevelt wrote quite a bit about, I would say, just turn it back to TR, who was, like all of us, a flawed man also, and didn't live long enough actually to write about what he had learned from the tragedy of his later life. His son was famously killed in the summer of 1918 in the First World War.
Oh, crap.
Pushed really hard and very thoughtlessly, in my opinion. And then his favorite son, Quentin, was killed behind enemy lines in a plane. And Roosevelt died the following January, so 5 months later. He never really told us what he learned from that, unfortunately. Because I think he would have had a lot to say about how that changed him, and we would be the beneficiaries of that wisdom. But we weren't, as we know, but anyway, that's my opinion. But one thing he did write a lot about was the need to have an impressive ruling class. And he was often called a populist, and of course he went after the trust, but he was a product of that same class. He was a ruling class guy, and that's why he was an effective critique of that class, because he knew them. He wasn't sort of pressed against the glass hoping to be one of them. He was born one of them in New York City. I think on East 30th Street, if I'm correct. But anyway, the point is, he knew the people he was talking about. He knew how unworthy they were of leadership of the country on the street. And that's why his criticism stung, that's why his reforms worked, because he knew what he was talking about. He wasn't trying to get rich, he was rich. They didn't have anything that he wanted. He had social status, and he had money. And so he cared about the country, he cared about nature, he loved animals, and as decent people do, he loved children all the time. And he loved the nation enough to call out the bad actors in the ruling class. Not because he was against ruling classes, he was a man of deep learning, The book that he wrote at Harvard, The Naval Motivation, 2 volumes, is still in print. And he wrote it, it's still signed in the Naval Academy. It was a couple years ago. He wrote it because he was bored, because Harvard wasn't hard enough for him. That's how intense his intellectual energy was. He wrote 50 letters a day, and he read all the time while exercising. And one of the things he learned from his deep reading in history was that the ruling class, the hierarchy, is a feature of human nature, as it is in the animal world. There's one head dog in a house. And if there's any confusion about who the dog is who's in charge, the dogs will kill each other until the leader is chosen. It's just a feature that we didn't create and it will never change. So populism as an idea is stupid. You're not going to have a flat society. You're always going to have a hierarchical society. What you're looking for is a ruling class that is wise, who understand their own limits, who know that they're not God, and who treat the people beneath them fairly and with love, who care about the people they lead. Love is the key. And I'm not a liberal. Hardly.
69th.
I already said I want to execute literers, so you know I'm not a liberal. But I'm going to use liberal language when I say love is the key. You have to love the people who are in charge. Whether it's your children, or your troops if you're an officer, whether it's your employees if you're an employer, or whether it's your voters and citizens if you're a political leader. And if you don't love them, you will hurt them. It's really, really simple. Beneficence has to be at the heart of your motive. And if it's not, you're a bad leader. And Roosevelt understood that and said that much more articulately than I am now doing.
Port 70.
And we don't have that. And that's what drives me crazy. It's not a question of Biden versus Trump. It is, strictly speaking, that question. It's preferences, which I've expressed many times with Donald Trump last night. But it's much bigger than that. It's the people who've reaped the most benefits from the system, A, don't believe in the system, and don't love the people who made those benefits possible. The rest of the citizenry. They don't. And I live in one of those towns and I've seen it. I don't care at all. If everybody in the town I lived in died of a fentanyl OD, there'd be no story in the New York Times except as a curiosity. Entire main town dies. No one cares. You have to care. That's why you're a good parent, not because you're super smart or like unusually selfless. You're not Mother Teresa or something. Goofy dad, like we're all just goofy dads, like making dumb mistakes with our kids. But if we love them, they'll turn out okay. That's all that matters is your motive. And that's why everybody can be a pretty decent parent. Everybody, even the super dumb people. You're like, oh, that person shouldn't have kids. I think they should, actually. I think they should. Because they can do it. All they need is to love their children. And they'll get it right enough. They'll make the dumb people may probably make more mistakes because they're dumb. But it'll still be okay if they love their kids. And it's exactly the same with our leaders. Everyone's like, our leaders are so unimpressive. Yeah, if you only knew I know them. Are you joking? You wouldn't hire them to run your kid's birthday party. They're losers. But they'd still be okay. They'd still be good enough. Maybe not the best we could get, but that's all right. You're not always going to get the best. They would be okay if they loved the people who live here. And so that was basically that's just my message. To the extent I have a message. It's that. It's like, why does a place like Russia run by Vladimir Putin, who I'm not endorsing? I don't want to live in Russia. I would if I wanted to. But I don't. I don't want to. I'm not Russian. I'm American. I just want that here. I don't want their system. I want their language. Their food is excellent, I will say that. But I do want to live in a place that's a lot prettier. And the question it evoked in me was, why isn't my country, and its cities in particular, that pretty? What's the answer? Oh, shut up. No, how about no? I'm not going to shut up. Because I'm 54 and my country and I'm now. And now I've got the internet. So be quiet. Now, what's the answer? Why does Moscow, which I didn't even want to go to, and I had no idea where Moscow was, I've never been there before, and no interest in going there ever.
75th board.
Because he told me I couldn't go. Oh, I think I can. Because, I don't know who you are. You're not my dad. Back off. I'm going to Moscow. Anyway, so I went there, and the first thing I noticed was that I didn't like the system, and I believe in free speech and I'm American. But it is so much prettier than any city we have. It didn't make me love Russia or love Putin. It made me really mad at the people in my country. Why are you putting up these ugly glass buildings everywhere? No one likes those. There's no privacy in them. One of the beauties of being in solitude in the woods is there's privacy. We have a fishing camp in our family purchased for $70,000. Just for the record, it's 1 mile of Trout Street. Very productive Trout Street. Never mentioned anything. And my kids are always like, no one's ever been in the park except us, that's it. It's 25 minutes from my house. It's my favorite place in the world. In fact, my backdrop for our show that we're doing is video shot at our fishing camp. It's so beautiful. $70,000. That's what I'm knocking. And my son always goes, we can fish naked. We can't because the mosquitoes and black flies. So we fish we actually fish like Bedouin, totally covered up. But whatever, you could because there's no one there. So it's that in privacy, we have freedom. That's why we have doors on the bedroom. Not because we're ashamed of what we're doing in the bedroom, because that's a prerequisite for freedom is privacy. Anything that denies us privacy is an attack on our spirit and on our humanity. And a glass building, an open floor plan where everyone works in a cube is an assault on my spirit and dignity as a human being. And nobody says that. You're a freak. You're a weird theory. They're not weird theories. They're just obvious observations of man. And that's all I want to say is we don't have to live like this. And we should refuse to live like this. You cannot tell me what to say or think. You can't force me to live in a way that I wouldn't force my dogs to live. Like bed train the dogs right there. But whatever. That's all I'm saying. And if you denounce me as a tulip Putin, I don't care. Because I don't care about you and your dumb opinions. Adults are talking. That's it. Thank you.
Free speech is bigger than any one person or any one society starts defining by what they want. Then watching is the total version of virtue. Internet is crowded with interesting things that don't really matter. TCN, we attempt to bring you interesting things that actually do matter, and a lot of them. Interviews, long form and short, videos, documentaries. You can find all of it.
Oh my god. That was beyond insanity. Oh my god, I can't really survive that. Alright, I need to go put another video on. I'll be right back.
The news is so grim at this point that you almost don't want to turn on your phone. He's suggesting Western civilization is crumbling and collapsing around us, followed by typically a summary piece confirming that, in fact, it is collapsing all around. So,
And it's my honor and privilege.
Yeah.
Completely condemns the white supremacy. But because the media sucks major nuts, major ones, dumbass liberals in the media actually believe the opposite. Your president, the governor of New York, just ran cover for a bunch of actual Nazis who would kill the Jews in a minute. How
Oh my
do we know
god.
they would kill the Jews? Anyone in the production team know? Because
they tell us.
And they've done it. They got two great answers. Somebody said, they've already done it, right? Because they talk about it? Yes. Yeah, that's how we know. That's how we know.
Oh.
But they're like, don't worry, there's fine people on both sides. Here's
Made it.
more one. Here's Joe Biden, who
81st.
just did that, the fine people thing. The media won't say shit because they're scumbags and garbage people running cover for actual Nazis now. Liberals are amazing. They're into all the sides with a C. Infanticide, genocide, election stealing, censorship. This is a modern liberal movement. Here's Mays Moore on this nice little back and forth on what they allege was the fine people hoax. Now we have an actual fine people scandal, and I'm not letting this go. Take a look at this.
Close your eyes. Remember what you saw on television. Remember seeing those neo-Nazis and Klansmen and white supremacists coming out of the fields with lighted torches. And remember what the president said when
I've never
asked?
seen that.
And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
Their veins bulging.
Did it specifically that he was condemning us?
No, he did not. He said he walked out and he said, let's get this straight. The veins bulging on their, as they were screaming. Remember, just close your eyes and picture what it was. Their veins bulging. Their veins bulging. Nazi sympathizers carrying Nazi fags. Veins bulging. Veins bulging. Veins bulging. Veins bulging. How are you, baby? How old are you? Veins bulging. It's the veins bulging. Bulging. Veins. Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys. Their veins is bulging. Their veins bulging. Their veins bulging. Veins bulging. Bulging. Fewer. Have you ever heard this president say one negative thing about white supremacists? Have you ever heard it?
Racism is evil.
And
those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans.
You see why I can't stand this piece of garbage in the White House? This kid sniffing, plagiarizing, women groping, sexual harassing piece of trash in the White House. He's garbage. He just did the both sides fine people thing, defending actual Nazis. Trump did the exact opposite, and garbage pieces of shit in the media will still tell you the opposite, and dumb moron liberals will buy it. Dumb ass liberals. How do you
Just cracked a
watch
million.
that video from Mays Morgan? How do you watch that and draw the conclusion that Joe Biden is not full of shit? He's now defending actual Nazis. You know why they get away with this? Because they know, I hate to tell you this, they know liberals are absolute morons. I'll show you what I mean coming up in a second. With actual quotes from Hamas bloodthirsty terrorists who see liberals as strategic allies. No! Yes, they've actually said it. Because the Nazis and Hamas know that they've got allies in the Nazi left.
87th board.
And they know Joe Biden will defend them, saying there's fine people on both sides. Quick break, and I'll show you what I mean. Actual quotes, by the way. Folks, have you seen the garbage you're pushing out some public schools? Have we ever left this
Oh, crap.
race baiting, D&I indoctrination, DEI? What happened to real education? It's lost. A lot of these teachers are coming from leftist universities. They're taught by Marxists. You want to indoctrinate your kids? You need to get your kids out of these government-controlled garbage schools and into Freedom Project Academy. Freedom Project Academy is perfected online learning, offering live, on-demand, and homeschool courses for students K through 12. I always get a ton of questions on this. This is a great program. Freedom Project Academy. Built on Judeo-Christian values and classical curriculum. Students read full books, read in person, study the full scope of history. Many graduate with knowledge years above the public school peer. Right now, save 10% on tuition when you enroll at freedomforschool.com, freedomforschool.com. Check out their fully accredited courses, teachers preview classes.
You going to bed?
A free information pack.
Oh, you're just playing on your bike? You're playing on your bike?
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? You glad you got your new bike? I am too.
Take back your kids' education at Freedom Project Academy at freedomforschool.com. It's FOR. Freedom for School.
Nice job.
A sponsor today. Jace, folks, if you're like me, you know how helpless it is. You're sick or in an emergency, you can't get a hold of life-saving help. Here's my actual Jace case. You can see inside, you hear rattling around. Those are actual antibiotics in there. It's a travel case for antibiotics.
board.
90th. Help you prepare everyday emergencies and not so everyday emergencies for your idea. Traveling, camping, or hiking without a Jace case, like going on a road trip without a spare tire, it's a really bad idea. It's cheaper than buying most meds on the world. Go to jace.com. It's like Vase with a J. Fill out the form, review the terms. As soon as Jace Medical has a physician, Evaluate the request, and if you're eligible, your medications are dispensed by a licensed pharmacy or fraction. Plus, right now, we have a Metco case. It's 30% off when you reserve your case in April. Use promo
You need
code
help?
Gino at jace.com.
Okay, I'll be right there.
Use promo code Gino.
Coming.
Those products are not intended as a substitute
Be
for
right back.
professional medical treatment or advice. So, how does it make you feel that a bunch
All right.
of bloodthirsty Nazis
EDC
in Hamas
to move this bike
legit think
up
you're
the
moral?
stairs.
They consider you strategic allies. That Nazis love you should say something. If you're a liberal, you should be sitting back like you're watching my show. I know you're kind of dumb.
Oh, boy.
Try to not be stupid for a minute. You should be sitting back, leaning back in the chair going, a bunch of Nazi bloodthirsty terrorists who like killing Jews and torturing and raping women. They see me as a friend and an ally. That's kind of a bad thing. Can we all get a renouncement on the show today? If Hamas bloodthirsty terrorists want to be friends with anyone on the crew, is anybody down for that? That's a big no. We're not good with that. We're not interested. We're not. Matter of fact, we think you guys suck, and we'd like to see you guys die instead. Because we hate you, because we don't like terror. So we're not open for that. Liberals are like, let me think that through. Let me think. There's a symbiosis.
Make it, yes.
Wall Street Journal.
90-second board.
Who's behind the anti-Israel protests? On October 7th, Hamas leader and former Palestinian Prime Minister Ismail Haniyeh alluded to this on Al Jazeera TV. He exhorted to quote resistance abroad. Liberal dipshits, they're talking about you. Called them, quote, strategic allies. And Muslims worldwide, all partners in creating this great victory. To join this battle in any way they can. This Hamas political bureau member underlined the, quote, large impact of the protests in pressuring the decision makers of the world in an interview on November 12th.
That was scary.
They've got friends in Joe Biden, AOC, Kathy Hochul, Kamala Harris. Terrorists. There's a fine people scandal going on. It's sitting in the White House right now. The only difference is this time it's actually real. Bloodthirsty terrorist scum will kill you in a second and feed you your own nuts. Love the left, they consider them strategic allies.
94th.
I'm done playing cutesy time with all this bullshit. I got my 50. I think I'm at 50. Is that crazy? December. Not even that far away. I can't tell you, shows making a difference. If it's for you, we're done. We're done. Scumbags, terrorists, losers, murderers, communists, Stalinists, dipshits, morons. We're gonna call you out every day on the show. You don't like it? Find a new show. Every day, someone's gonna get called out.
95th
I'm
board.
running out of time to expose the dipshit. This is how stupid you left this up. And a bunch of people who rape women, cut their breasts off. They find you to be friends, and you love it. Because there's fine people on both sides, right? You're a piece of shit. You're not lefty scumbag. Pieces of shit. There are Nazis. They're you. Look in the mirror. Why I titled today's show that. Liberals or Nazis? No one really knows. Speaking of useful idiots, we have our own problem here. Weaponized law enforcement in the United States. You see this article about yesterday? Folks, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. A report just came out about the FBI targeting Catholics. Evita, you remember this one, right? Don't worry, don't write it. Evita was going to write an article. Don't even bother, Evita. It turns out the government says, folks, it's no big deal. Nothing happened. So, Evita, stand down. She's writing it on her pen. Put your pen down. Don't waste the audience time. The New York Times. Oh, look, it's Adam Goldman again. Deep State Adam Goldman. I told you. Did I not say before he was going to be back? New York Times. No bias found an FBI report on Catholic streams. That's it, fellas. In the chat, no big deal. Bacino, can we ask you for another poll? I'm sorry, I don't want to bust your rocks there. Or just has a lot of nuts. But do you believe this? I'll read it to you in a second. Does anybody take the government's word at it that there was no bias in targeting Catholics or the New York Times? Anyone take the FBI or the New York Times word? Bacino, if there's a single yes, I take their word. Please let us know. We need to start segregating these people into the stupid pile of media. Get over it. Oh, yeah, he was there. He was actually there for this guy, so the whole thing. Republicans have seized on the 11-page memo, which was leaked early last year as a talking point. They're talking about the memo targeting Catholics. Republicans pounce, fellas. They pounce again. Everything seized.
They pounce again.
To sharply criticize the bill and suggested, without evidence,
Latin Mass. Evil Latin Mass.
Sensing a theme in today's show. Without evidence.
99th board.
Campaign by the Biden administration to persecute Catholics and conservatives over their beliefs. Now, I got another screenshot from this piece. That's candidly hilarious. So just let's set the playing field up. First, we have this memo out of this field office in the FBI, where the FBI is clearly targeting Catholics. There's no disputing what they were doing.
And Christopher Wray dodges all the questions.
Who's a colossal piece of human garbage. First blames Republicans for pouncing or seizing.
When asked about it.
One.
Round
He has
100.
to blame us. He has to deflect the story.
156 boards left.
And make it a story about the Republican response. You see what they do here? They're caught in a major scandal. The Biden administration targeting Catholics. Reframe it. You can't have it about Democrats. So Adam Goldman, who's a piece of human garbage, has to say, how do we make the story about Republicans? Let's say Republicans pounced and seized on it to make it seem like they're mercenary and it's a story about them. Then he goes down and does the Dana Bash because Adam Goldman is a piece of human waste and is as dumb as Dana Bash. He says there's no evidence. The memo is evidence, you freaking dipshit. How stupid can you possibly be? The answer is very stupid. I bet Hamas loves people like him too. Here, down later in the piece, keep in mind, Adam Goldman just told you there's no evidence of the FBI targeting Catholics. The assessment by the DOJ watchdog found that agents in the FBI's Richmond office improperly conflated the religious beliefs of
100 seconds.
activists with the likelihood they would engage in domestic terrorism. Can you put the first screenshot again? Because dipshit Adam Goldman, deep state Adam, absolute freaking piece of garbage, just told us it's right there. He says there's no evidence. It's right there, folks. Would anyone like to read again? That there's no evidence here. And then please flip back to the other. So there's no evidence of the FBI targeting Christians, except
103rd.
that the FBI improperly conflated the religious beliefs of activists with the likelihood they would engage in domestic terrorism. I thought you said there's no. I don't mean with the show. I do have to present like being here. I mean, we don't have to be here as a country. If assholes would stop being assholes and dipshits would stop being dipshits, like everything would be so much better. Adam Goldman doesn't have to be a deep state sellout. Adam Goldman could actually do journalism and admit that there is actual evidence because you wrote it in your own piece. You're just too stupid to realize you contradicted your own thesis just a few paragraphs later. You could actually tell the truth, but because he's deep state Adam Goldman, you know, they love these people. Hamas loves these people. I want you to understand. Enemies of the United States share one thing in common. They hate the United States and they all love each other. Because they say there's fine people on both sides. 98.9% Bacino on the case. An astonishing 619 votes. That's crazy. That's like 10 times the audience in those lives. That's just the votes alone. Who's the 1.1%? Who are those people? It's those guys. Yeah, I know. They must have confused it. I know, I think so. There's no way it was even 6 people. I don't believe anything these people say, folks. They're useful idiots.
Oh, God.
So Jim put this segment together, and I love producer Jim. It's a good one. Folks, when I talk about this election,
That was insane.
critical. I understand
106 board.
I get it. I'm not naive to the fact that we've been beaten over the head for the last 5 or 10 election cycles, right? This is the most important election of our lifetime. But I think we can reasonably argue that yes, this is the case, but why? I think I need to make the case. There was some overlap in the past in the two parties. Bill Clinton and John F. Kennedy gave speeches about the economy and taxes that if I were to take their names off it and tell the uninitiated into politics who said this, you'd think it was Ronald Reagan. There was some overlap in the past. There is no overlap in it. So when every a fight, every fight now appears Manichaean, like if we lose, it's the end of the countries we know. That's because it is. Because there is no over. If we lose, you're going to this is the country you're going to live in. Just a disgusting mess of collectivism and socialism. Why is Biden ramping up the global warming nonsense? He's ramping it up, ladies and gentlemen, because one, he knows if he loses this election, there's going to be a massive shift back to drilling, back to a petroleum-based economy and a prosperous world with low energy prices where we can all grow and succeed together. He's dialing this back. He's trying to ramp up the propaganda because he's trying to scare the crazies, the Hamas sympathizers, and all these other people. I'm going to watch this video of Biden ramping up the global warming hysteria because it's important. This is one of those issues that's going to shape the election. Come on, check this out.
As president, I've seen the devastating toll of climate firsthand.
You do?
Since I've been president, I've flown over all the major fires and the thousands upon thousands of acres that have burned flat by wildfires. More acres than the entire state of Maryland combined.
Folks, global warming is a hoax. You understand? It's a hoax like the Trump fine people hoax. That's now a real scandal for the left. It's a hoax. They have no idea what humans' role in global warming is, and I can prove it to you because I have receipts, unlike the dipshit class. They have no receipts at all. If you were supposed to be taken seriously as a scientist, you make some pre-experimental prediction. I don't want to go through a whole experimental psychology 101 course, but most of you understand the way it works is, if you want to test, I think the thyroid messed up. So anyway, T3. If you're going to run an experiment on this little half a pill, right, you're going to say before the experiment, here's what I think this thyroid drug is going to do. It's going to lead to an elevated, whatever, T3 or T4 level, okay? You don't say it afterwards, you say it before. Okay, then you actually test the drug. And then afterwards you see the results and you retest it. If you were to test this drug 100 times and it never does what you say it's going to do before the test, then your drug sucks. So when you say to people like Biden and AOC, the clown show, the Hamas sympathizers, because there's fine people on both sides of this, okay? When you say to them, what is your actual evidence that stuff like this is true? Associated Press. UN climate chief presses for faster action. Says humans have 2 years left to see growth.
No, now it's 2 years.
It's not 12, it's not 10. It's 2 years now we're all going to be dead. So again, you would ask,
from what?
Okay, if I should take you morons seriously, what exactly is your track record of success? So he pulled up this Breitbart piece by John Milton. Climate experts are an astonishing 0 for 41 with their doomsday predictions. Yes, that is awesome. That 0 for 41, you guys are kicking ass. That's like below the Mendoza line. He actually has an update. It's actually 0 for 50, but we'll even stick for 41. We'll give him a 9-play buffer here. Here's just a list. I won't read everyone, but here's a list of the doomsday predictions the global warming hoaxers have told you are going to happen that never happened because it's a hoax. The dire famine forecast by 1975, ice age by 2000, nope. A new ice age by 2020, not so much. A new ice age by 2070, that was in 1972, Mike. Space
not
satellites
so
show a new ice age coming fast. No end in sight to the 30-year cooling trend, that was 1978. Temperatures in D.C. in 1988 will hit record highs. 1980, the Maldives will be underwater by 2018. They're not. Which one's your favorite? No, the Maldives. The Maldives are going to be underwater every year. It's amazing they're not yet. Children won't know what snow is in 2000. Britain will be Siberia by 2024. These are... People fall for this shit all the time. The Arctic will be ice-free by 2015. Nope. Oil will be gone in 10 years. Oil will be depleted in 20 years. The Department of Energy says oil will peak in the 90s. Nitrogen buildup will make all land unusable. Decay and pollution will kill all fish. Here's one of my favorites. 1970. Remember the Killer Bees, folks? Remember
yeah.
on TV? Tony, you remember that?
Yeah,
the
I
TV
do.
movie, The Killer Bees? Everybody's like, oh shit, the Killer Bees are coming.
From Africa.
None of this stuff actually happened. So they're 0 for 50. Let's say 0 for 41. We'll give them like a 9-point lead on that. Nothing they've told you is true. At what point do we start to follow the actual science? I'm asking you a simple question because you keep telling us that you keep telling us that we don't have evidence. I'm asking you the question and turning it on you. What evidence do you have that any of your predictions are actually true? This is a hoax. It's a hoax being perpetrated on you because they hate capitalism and they hate men. And they call these people watermelons. You know why? You know what watermelons means? The old communism doesn't work anymore. So they figured if they couldn't destroy capitalism with communism because you just had to kill too many people, that the best way to destroy it is through green bullshit. California and that other stuff. They call them watermelons because they're green on the outside but red on the inside. They're really communists. They don't believe any of this shit. They know global warming is hoax. But Biden's freaking out. They're ramping up the hysteria now for a reason. They're ramping up the hysteria because Trump knows global warming is a big, monster, huge hoax. It's the biggest scam ever. They're trying to push you into electric cars with no capability to charge them at all. And this stuff is driving them crazy. Here's Donald Trump
118th.
the other day. And they are absolutely losing their minds over this because they know it's coming a few minutes, James.
We'll stop Biden's inflation train wreck and we will drill, baby drill. We're going to get your energy prices right.
This is why the left is freaking out. They know the hoax is exposed. Now let me tell you, I want to get on my next story because it's important. This is critical. They're especially panicked over Trump for this very simple reason. This is critical you understand this. If you look at prior Republican politicians, the Mitt Romneys, the George W. Bushes, although they were never full-blown global warming hoax advocates, they always gave it credence. They always accepted the premise that human beings are destroying the earth through global warming. It was just a matter of how to handle it, carbon credits. Trump is the first one to attack this thing head on and say, you know what? I think this whole thing is bullshit. I think you guys are full of crap. We should be good stewards of the earth because we live here. You don't crap in your own house, right? Like you rub it all over the floors. You don't destroy your own house, right? You do your best to keep it clean. However, your house is going to develop wear and tear over time. Earth is our house. There is some wear and tear that associates it with its supporting human life. Donald Trump is the first Republican in a long time to do this to the lefty global warming hoax brigade, and they are freaked out because they understand the power of his messaging machine, and they understand that this might be the end of their little monopolistic messaging hegemonic routine they've got going where they've infected the minds of young kids. Last story. I hit Bongino up again. He's a busy day, so I'll let it roll. Because I know the answer anyway. Folks, I asked you often because it matters. Do you think it's bad? Have Democrat areas gotten shitty enough around the country, liberal cities and elsewhere, that people are going to start changing and altering their voting behavior? And I mean in mass. I'm not saying there isn't a significant shift in places like New York and elsewhere with minority and Hispanic voters, Asian voters and elsewhere towards Trump. It is. But when I say is it bad enough, I'm talking about a major shift. I'm talking about Ronald Reagan in 1984, who won 49 out of 56.
120
That seems almost unimaginable. But I want you to remember, I'm only 49 years old and happened in my lifetime. So don't tell me it's not possible to win places like New York and California. Do I think it's going to happen now? No. Do I think it's bad enough yet that there's going to be a major shift in voting? No, I don't.
How can
But,
not?
folks, things like this are not helping. They're certainly moving the needle in our direction, not in yours. The mayor of LA, Karen Bass, was an intruder arrested at her house, the official residence of the mayor. This is a story from the local ABC app. Now, here's what I find about this lawsuit. Number one, crime is crime.
Oh, hey, let go of my hand. Dude grabs my arm that's on the joystick. Crazy.
I thought they hated bail. I thought they want to let these people out of the streets because they were victims of the system. You see how even in a situation like this, liberal hypocrisy is exposed, and it changes your pre-existing narrative of who these people are? They are running on this idea that for you, the smellies, the deplorables, the Walmart class, the hayseeds, the dopey ones, that the criminals should be on the street and prey on you because they're the victims of you and your meritocracy. And yet when a crime happens to them, things are totally different. This is the kind of stuff, because human beings sense fundamental unfairness. This is the kind of stuff that drives people absolutely crazy. You want to see a major shift in voting behavior? You're going to see it with stuff like this. If this was your house and there was a break-in, would you get the same level of attention? Folks, I think you know this. So is it bad enough yet? I don't think so. One last point for you. Folks, this Trump documents, I want you to keep this in the back of your head. The reason they went down is becoming more transparent by recommend strong enough Julie Kelly has been following this trial every single day. The stuff that is exposed in the beginning, that document came from her feet. That document from Josh Kelly, the one from the beginning of the show, where she's
I can't believe I survived that.
It is now clear, and I think you guys get this too. They went down there and served that search warrant because they were terrified that Trump has a stash of documents exposing what the deep state did to him. Over the last few shows, we've been talking about John Brennan, the CIA, the
I knew it, dude.
How all these people tied
That was
into each
stupid.
other with Hillary Clinton and elsewhere. How they tied into each other.
I knew it was happening.
And don't you
I went down right into them. There's no reason to do it. I should have led them up, brought them through the tunnel. Would have been done.
Documents and all these scandal documents that Trump has to prove the deep state exists and targeted him. Don't you find it weird that Trump is being tried in New York for allegedly mischaracterizing payments as legal payments to Michael Cohen, when Hillary Clinton, who financed a lot of this stuff, disguised those payments to her legal team as what? As legal payments. This is the biggest dipsy-do flipperoo of all time. I'm going to keep my eye on this case. I'm going to keep my eye on all of it. Don't miss out. I really appreciate you tuning in today, folks. Please, if you would, download the Rumble app. Tomorrow I'm going to have a big segment on what's going on in Australia. If you haven't heard, Australia is knee-deep in censorship now, trying to censor the entire globe. It's absolutely insane. It's full comedy. Don't miss that tomorrow. Support Rumble. Support free speech platforms, X, True Social. Get the Rumble app today or watch the show every day, rumble.com/Bongino. What's that?
I gotta go to the next video in a second, so I'll be back in a second.
See you on the radio show in a little bit. Back here.
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show.
At the park. Run over there and cook the next one. $130th. I'm in a park. Be right back.
It's towards the end of the week. I'd always love to get you some lighter stuff, but did you see this just explosive story that came out last night about the Secret Service agent?
Holy crap.
Had some kind of a breakdown. JBA, Joint Base Andrews, or near there, was on the vice president's detail. I'll show you this, and sadly, folks, I don't know the details of the story. I don't want to get involved in this agent's business, but apparently it's everybody's business now because it's a big story that's out there. I'm just going to give you some personal experience I've told you before. And that agency has a very pure mission. You keep this person alive. Don't give a shit about their politics, their religion, skin color, sex, nothing. They stay alive.
Should I trap them in the tunnel?
That's the mission. Pure as snow. You're not going to get a pure mission in the federal government, correct? How even that's getting messed up. We're in a bad place now. I warned you about this before. You start dumping the meritocracies and start layering and layering all kinds of incentives, you're going to get a messed up agency. I got that big snapshot and soundbite this morning from Trump. If you saw it, nobody does it better than this guy. Big show, they don't go anywhere. Elevate every morning with Tommy John, Second Skin Underwear. Yes. Rockin' mine today. These are your favorite spots? What you put in your pants can
it's kind of junky.
And the luxurious support of Second Skin
got stuck there for a second.
Everything will go smoothly. When you wear Tommy John, you're that much more comfortable. You can do everything better. I love Tommy Johns. I've got like a night
Holy smokes.
pairs and workout pairs. I love it. Tommy John stylish and soft Second Skin underwear has dozens of comfort innovations like sporting contour pouch and breathable, lightweight, moisture-wicking fabric with 4 times the stretch of competing.
$1.33.
With over 20 million pairs sold, a lot of them to me.
125 boards left.
Sorry, Tommy John, they don't have customers, they have fanatics. Like this one.
Oh, crap.
There's no downside. Buy one pair and you never want to wear any of them to wear again. I was buying Tommy John baby for what he had advertised on the show, folks. I love him. Plus, your most valuable assets are always covered with Tommy John's best pair you ever wear. It's free guarantee. Shop Tommy John's Friends and Family Sale right now. And get 25% off site-wide at TommyJohn.com/Dan. I think I'll buy some later. I'll probably put it on a receipt for you tomorrow. Save 25% at TommyJohn.com/Dan for a limited time. Visit TommyJohn.com/Dan for details. Check them out. All right, fellas, let's go. So this is a story I never want to bring you, folks. I spent a lot of time in the federal government. I'm going to tell you, I'm telling my experience. Take it, leave it, to whatever you want with it, but the experience is mine, and as always, it's the truth. And I feel like it can kind of shed some light in the story. Watch the example. According to multiple sources and multiple reports in Real Clear and elsewhere, Tom Rogan wrote about it. Susan Crabtree has a story up as well. Secret Service agent assigned to the Kamala Harris detail involved in a fight with other agents. Now, as always, these stories tend to filter out through various people, and listen, I don't want to get involved in anyone's personal business, okay? But having said that, there are some allegations here that there are some very serious issues with this agent if you just read the public reporting on it. It's out there right now. So I'm going to make a connection for you that really pains me to make because I love this place. Matter of fact, on my desk here alone, I have like 10 coins. Here's a Secret Service coin, 1, 2 from the New York office, the president's detail. I mean, I love these guys. Here's a big one. Here's the K-9 division. I mean, I really love these guys. We've got some great people. But if there was a training issue and this agent was not supposed to be on the detail, then it should have been taken into account in training and that person should have graduated. I'm going to give you my experience. I was an instructor in the Secret Service Training Center, and I'm just going to come out of the chute and tell you this right away. Someone's going to get killed.
That's crazy, you're an instructor.
Folks, someone's going to get killed. I am hoping this is one of those, we're not flagging anything because I don't want this. This is not going to be one of those moments where I go, see, I told you so.
Yeah.
But the Secret Service itself, which has a very pure mission, keep this guy or woman alive no matter what. If they happen to get something breaks bad, you're going to eat that round, not them. You're the meat man.
What?
This is the job is
Are you tickling me?
pure as the driven soul.
Oh, crap.
Hire people who have the physical capability of keeping the protectees, the president, the vice president, others alive. Is any of this controversial? So I just find it odd that my experience in the training center multiple times, I'm telling you, people graduated, and you go back and probably FOIA some of these
What?
records where we were running classes, who me and a partner
Yeah.
of mine, who did not belong in the Secret Service. It's on
Not yet. He's playing this game.
documentation was made.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little while, because I'm trying to see how far I can get.
Anyway, why? Because they weren't
Don't touch my own.
Henry, don't.
This is a new personal best. I made it to 1.6 million.
Go
The
fast.
highest before this was 1.5.
Go fast.
It is fast, you're right.
Go fast.
Yeah, it's very fast.
From what I'm hearing from people, this is a Biden lover.
Yee!
Obsessed with Joe Biden as she is with protecting the Secret Service. And the fascinating part, if you read her bio,
140th.
is she was appointed to the SES, which means Senior Executive Service. Those are basically the higher.
Get out of here.
The special agent in charge of the JJRTC, as we call it, which is the James J. Rowley Training Center.
It's the highest you got.
Yeah.
What is two thumbs
Wait, no,
right there?
is this-
This guy. This
Yeah,
guy.
so I haven't gone this far
Was an
before.
instructor.
Nope.
Wow.
She was the special agent in charge.
Don't touch that, please.
What is it?
Oh, God.
What is it?
Had this issue.
Oh, God, Henry.
What is it?
Maybe someone in the media.
Pick that up, please, Annie. Oh, I'm way off pattern now.
One,
Maybe check
zero,
that out.
one.
She's also she's the director of Kim Cheetah of the Secret Service now. Remember the cocaine incident? Yeah, remember that one? Why is no one asking her questions about this? Still kind of strange, right? Yeah, we couldn't find anything. Really, you found a bag. You found a bag.
That stinks.
A bag you made of plastic. Imagine there was coke in this.
All right, can I have some room, please?
Plastic. Plastic.
So it
Is
keeps
plastic
track.
a porous surface like paper?
Can I have some room, please?
It is not.
Thank you.
Meaning if there was oil from your fingertips, right? You had a cocaine bag to Tony. It would probably lay on top because it's not a porous surface, correct? Indeed it would, Tony said. So if you had cocaine in the White House, Kim Cheetah, and it was found, or a cocaine baggie in the White House, probably left for someone in the White House, you know what I mean? Wiki, nah. How would you get it in there without leaving a fingerprint? How would you do that?
To the Secret
You think
Service.
they walked in like that? Here's a draw. Here, watch it. Here's a
All right.
draw.
I can't look away from the screen right now.
There's a key. You turn the key with your mouse. That's how they did. There's no fingerprints at all. Strange. Because if you even did that, it would leave this thing like saliva, which would lead to DNA, and we'd know what we know. Why don't they know that? So we've got this director who was the director of the training center.
145th.
Let's see if this person
Don't do that to your track. You're breaking it. Stop bending
I'm
it.
just throwing stuff out there for the media trying to help you out. And while you're at it, you can ask questions about the cocaine thing too. And ask why this woman is still in charge of the most important agency in the world. By the way, if Donald Trump gets elected, she should be forced to resign the next day. I love that place. I'm not going to let you ruin it. I'm sorry. There are great people there.
So, Dad,
Finest
who are you
people I
going to
ever
vote
worked with, ever.
for?
Finest people I ever worked with, whether it was Bush, Obama, or Bill Clinton, there were people who did their freaking jobs. You ain't doing your job.
The
It's time for
Republicans.
you to resign. You know
No,
exactly what you did,
what
and I think
president?
this story,
Trump.
if anyone out there has any guts, they'll start looking into what I just did.
Dad.
We got a lot more to get to, including snapshots and sound bites. That's all the campaign is, correct? Snapshots and sound bites. Who does them better than Donald Trump? The answer is... You're going to say no. No, there's
The old fact.
The Karate Man.
The old fact.
But the Karate Man's not real, so it's only Donald Trump in the
The
real
old
world.
fact.
This morning,
Yep,
while Joe
very
Biden
fast.
was probably
Right.
dropping a load in his diaper, this morning, he wasn't even up probably, probably wetting himself in the bed. What happened? Donald Trump got up early before court in one of his 1,000 criminal persecutions going on right now and decided to go out with the people who actually built America. These people in the hard hats. I'm proud of these people. My brother's a union, local 3 union worker. God bless you, men and women, busting your ass to build this country. You built New
Wow.
York City. You'll always be welcome on this show. Donald Trump showed up to a completely unscripted Heroes Welcome. You hear a little USA here. You think Joe Biden can do this? I think the answer is obvious. Joe Biden do that, he'd be rude. There'd be a fuck Joe Biden chant that would break out. That's just the facts. You know it. Or let's go Brandon. Shots and Sundays. Shots and Sundays. All an election is. Nobody does it like this. Can you imagine if New York is in play? Imagine if Trump loses New York by something. Because New York is granted. But when I say in play, the popular vote means a lot to the Democrats because they like to claim like they're a really popular party, infanticide, genocide, that sort of thing, right? Imagine if Donald Trump only loses New York by, say, 5 to 7 points. That would probably mean something like 500,000 extra ballots on the popular vote in the Donald Trump thing. Can you imagine just because they held the trial in New York? This middle finger.
Can I play outer space?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, go play outer space. The button's underneath the right side. In front.
Because you held, you not only lose the presidency, but the popular vote too, because you held the criminal persecution in New York. Then Trump used to his advantage to take the popular vote too. Would that be the greatest thing ever? Hey, a quick thank you before I get to the rest of the show. I love you guys, you know that. I saw this yesterday on Twitter. We're apparently the biggest stream in the United States. Live streaming is the future, and it's all thanks to you. And thank you to Rumble.
150th board.
I love being on the platform. The Dan Barnes Jr. Show on Rumble.
106 boards left.
Live news, any other news stream in the United States. I guess AMLO in Mexico, the communists, was on the period. And Todos and TCS and Argentina. So, top 3 news streams worldwide. I love you all. You're the best. But I really appreciate it. I just want to know. So, this came out this morning. Hold on. Last night, again, with the criminal persecutions, you may have missed this. I added this to the show at the last minute. So, conveniently, folks, we are living in a police state right now, as I told you, and conveniently, Trump, in a poll, popped up 5 in Arizona yesterday, as Charlie Kirk noted in a tweet this morning. And look at this. It's all a big coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. Trump pops in Arizona. He's up 5, another swing state. And this is crazy. Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, Bocino, get on the case. Yes or no, coincidence or not? Look at this, a massive indictment against Donald Trump and a bunch of Donald Trump-friendly folks.
Another one.
They all got indicted yesterday in Arizona. For what? Nah, they just made it up. This is kind of fascinating. The Attorney General there in Arizona, who likely didn't even win her election. Should be ejected. Legitimately, as this oversight project notes, that this might have been coordinated with the White House too. Kristen Mays, the AG in Arizona, met with White House senior staff in July of last year. Look at that! Look at that! Ladies and gentlemen, there's no evidence. Daniel Dale at CNN says there's absolutely no evidence of any White House coordination, any whatsoever, on any of these cases. It's all a big coincidence, I'm sure. Everybody goes to the White House, Georgia, Arizona, Twinkies people, all of these people in New York, and the next thing you know, it's so crazy, Donald Trump gets indicted. How what a big yeah, exactly. It's all made up. I just make up the story. Listen, let me tell you something. It's serious now, okay? Watch this. I'll be here for the podcast tomorrow. Hang out this weekend. Don't cut the bullshit. Read my Twitter feeds when you see that. Folks, I don't want to name any names because it's just outrageous people. There's a lot of internal pissing in everybody on Cheerios. If you're on Twitter all day, you see what here's your bowl of Cheerios, he's pissing, he's his Cheerios, this guy's pissing, that guy's Cheerios.
Oh, crap. Oh, crap.
Don't lecture me. I've been doing this 10 plus years. I put my name on about 3 times. I made massive donations
Oh,
to the
crap.
Republican Party and conservatives. I've been an activist my entire life. I'm not interested in any lectures from anyone. Everyone can sit down and shut the fuck up. Who's going to sit here and lecture me? you have an election coming. Donald Trump's entire team just got indicted yesterday in Arizona after he popped up court.
Shit!
Sitting in a dingy courtroom in Manhattan.
Can't believe I screwed that up.
To a bunch of infanticide supporting genocide.
Can't believe it, dude. 100 boards left.
I don't give a shit about pissing with everyone else's Cheerios on the Republican side. I don't care. I don't care who you support in the primary. I don't care who you got a pissing match with. I don't care about this guy's girlfriend. I don't give a shit. I don't care. No, because it's all great. We should go. No. Because in the real world, you've got to pick your fights. Because there's 24 hours in a day, and you're probably only awake for about 16. So you have limited time to fight this fight. Everybody, put your units away. Stop taking a leak in the other guy's Cheerios. Laser focus. Put the freaking blinders on right ahead and look straight ahead with laser focus to November. Because you're going to regret it in November if we lose, because we spent the last few months taking a leak in the other guy's Cheerios. Do you see what's happening right now in Arizona and elsewhere? After we win the election, you do whatever you want to do. Not now. I'm not interested. I'm not the grandfather's movement. I'm not Rush Limbaugh. I'm telling you on my show, I ain't wasting any time with this shit. And I got the biggest audience. And you know what? I can use it. And I'm going to use it to beat the Democrats. You want to take your beefs out on Trump? You still got to be ready to piss a match with the Syracuse people and Haley people. Stop. Win. Just win.
What?
Just win, baby. And then after that, do whatever you want to do.
And he's not letting you play?
No, I choose.
You wanted 2 players.
You think this police state stuff is...
It was only on 1?
The economy's collapsing before our eyes.
Alright, well, when she's done, you get to play. Just 1 player.
Real wages are going down. Inflation spiking again. And another gem happened this morning. We're just like, again, taking leaks in everyone else's Cheerios. So we're going to fight the real bad guy. Check this segment out.
Henry has to play out of space 1 time before bed, though.
It's a measure of our growth. A good growth number would be about 2.5%. An excellent growth number, 3.5%. A bananas growth number would be 4, 5, even 6%. That would be insane. You know what a shit number is? Anything below 2%. The number popped this morning. Listen to yourself.
Now let's get to the money numbers. GDP, first look. First quarter of disappointment, 1.6%. We're looking for a number almost a full percentage point higher. 1.6 is the weakest growth on a quarterly basis going back to the second quarter of 22 when it was negative, -0.6%.
We got an election to win, man. This is no time for dicking around. I'm going to show you what else we're fighting coming up next. I tweeted out the other day that in my experience doing law enforcement, ladies and gentlemen, these protesters out there that want to destroy America, this has, for as much as you may think it does, to a very small portion of people does this have anything to do with Israel. Most of the people involved, this has everything to do with freedom and liberty. Israel is a symptom of a larger, to them, a larger infection. It's merit and capital. I want you to understand that these people want to destroy us. There are 2 people out there, these agitation groups on college campuses that want to destroy America and kill the Jews. You have professional agitators and unprofessional losers. There's no one in between. And they cry like wuss bags when they get arrested. I've seen it. These are the people we're fighting. This is real. This is no time to be scrolling through people's messages. I'm tired of it. Focus. Let me take a quick break. I'll show you. These people have everything I told you about these people is real. These protesters are full of shit. Most of them have no idea what the hell they're even doing there. I've seen this 1,000 times. So when something goes viral, rest assured, one of these frauds are hiring and pretending pictures of companies when they're not. Trendy. So you don't work on these companies. No one really does you guys with us forever, and they've been around for 10 years. Patriot Mobile, America's only Christian conservative wireless company. Patriot Mobile has been an amazing supporter of the show. We appreciate it and a supporter of freedom of liberty. They're the only cell phone service provider that's actually defending freedom. They have been for a long time. Patriot Mobile offers dependable nationwide coverage at all 3 major networks, which means you get the same coverage you've been accustomed to, or better without falling in love with other customers depending on Patriot. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you explore the company's reasons. Speech, freedom, and safety, life, military, and first responders. They're 100% US-based customer service team at your channel. Keep your number, keep your phone, and upgrade. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Get free activation today when you use the offer code Dan. Don't be fooled by fake patriotic TV ads. Partner with the only wireless provider that actually lives our value. patriotmobile.com/Dan. Promo code Dan. patriotmobile.com/Dan. So I said this the other day. These people out there who want to kill the Jews want to kill you too. By the way, I hope you understand that their whole guiding ethos is first we get the Saturday people, then we get the Sunday people. If you think there's any reasonable distinction, no, they're going to leave me alone. I'm Catholic or Christian. Good luck with that. Good luck. You have fun. It's not going to last long. Here, I think this was the NYU campus. They were going out doing interviews. They're like, hey, what are you guys protesting? Proving my point that this is two groups of people. Professional agitators paid to be there, and unprofessional losers. Here was the answer. Check this out.
What would you say is the main goal with tonight's protest?
I think the goal is just showing our support for Palestine and demanding that NYU stop.
Good.
I honestly don't know.
Can I see your score?
Is there something NYU's doing?
I really don't know. I'm pretty
Sorry?
sure. Do you know what NYU is doing? About Israel. Why are we protesting here?
0166.
I'm not either.
Yeah, 167. Yeah.
Well, now 66.
It speaks for itself. I don't have to say anything. Yeah, he just said it's the NPC crowd. Isn't even programmed like a computer game, running in the background. Free Palestine. Where is Palestine? There never was a Palestine. What do you mean Palestine? Free what? Free. What are you talking about? Free Gaza. What do you mean? They already gave Gaza 2005. What are you talking about? River to the sea. What river? The Hudson? The Hudson? They don't even know. This is what we're up against. We got an election coming up. You want these people, the next leaders of America, because they will be if we lose. These will be your bureaucrats that will be running the FEC, the SEC. You want that?
2 million.
Sorry, I don't mean this code.
NPC crowd.
It's actually a good move. I'm sorry.
NPC crowd.
Don't mean a lot.
Yeah, it's like a bot.
I think you just sense my frustration. I've been dealing with this for months. Is anything trying to be crazier than the infighting? No, not probably. You know it. You sent it to me. So we were in the car. I don't even know. You know where we're going? We're in Dallas or something like that. And he's like, man, these people.
Oh, crap.
I've never seen anything like it. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, see, now we know. Now it's easy left. Yeah, Tennessee. Yeah. They do. Because I can't understand how people don't see the forest for the tree. You've got Trump in a political prison. That's your choice. I'm sorry. Let me tweets, man. I don't get it. Now, why do these NPCs think like this? Elon put a great tweet out yesterday, this graph. This is fantastic. Want to see why these people think like this in college campuses? Why the woke virus is spreading like a prion? Like Creutzfeldt was a the CJD or something, the mad cow disease? You want to see why? Look at this chart. Mentions of racism in the media. This thing went nuclear after Elon put it out. This is why. This is precisely why all these kids on college campuses are obsessed with the idea of a victim hierarchy. New York Times, LA Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal. Look at these mentions of racism, racist stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, when these kids, I don't even blame them. I wish they would wake up and kind of take a deep sniff of what's going on, like Joe Biden and sniffing the kids. But I wish they would take a sniff of the air around them and wake up. But can you blame them when the media they read, if they're reading it at all every single day, is telling them how everybody around them is a racist? By the way, how do you do this is fun, right? You want to go to Chicago and do some Okay, Paul, folks, would you watch that? Would you watch Evita do a man on the street interviews at the DNC with some of these lunatics? I'm all about it. Maybe Guy will go give us some French. I mean, I'll get you on television. I want to see what they have to say. This is why they're like they are. You have to understand. I wrote this down to you guys. Folks, why do these people hate the Jews? They don't hate the Jews because they're Jews.
Because the Jews wrote the Bible.
I know that sounds, well, some it's a religious thing. outside of the fanatics, the useful idiots I'm talking about. I'm not talking about professional agitators. Just so we're clear. Why do some of these kids hate the Jews? I promise you, it's nothing to do with them being Jewish. You know what it is? You've got this country in the Middle East that is really not loaded with natural resources. It's actually quite small. What is it, the size of New Jersey, roughly? It's not large. It's not even that old. And everybody's really successful. They've got a growing economy. They've got democracy. So in the victim hierarchy, where everything has to be taken from someone else. See, they never see the pizza as growing. They see the pizza as if you took a slice, you ate someone else. You get what I'm saying? If Jewish people in Israel are successful, they must be stolen. So that's where you get the useful idiocracy. Now you understand why they are. I'm not talking about the professional agitators and the Hamas killers. Trust me, they hate the Jews because they're Jews. I'm talking about the unprofessional losers, the useful idiocracy.
175th board.
People have been warned about. I'll get to that in a minute. You know what? Do we have that? Can you cue that up? This is a perfect time for this. I'm going to play it later. Watch this. This is a former KGB guy. We played this before.
You're gay?
The Soviets and the collectivists understood forever if they were to marry up in this unholy alliance, as David Horowitz calls it, with the Kill the Jews crowd, Hamas, Hezbollah, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, they understood fully they could take advantage of the useful idiots. The Soviets and the useful idiots together. Yuri Bezmenov explained this perfectly, how this is the way to destroy the United States from the inside out. Watch this. This is one of the best clips you'll ever see.
The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years. Actually, it's overfulfilled because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he's going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boat crashes, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization.
Folks, if you don't understand that, I'm going to be keeping friends. I'm sorry. He's explained it perfectly. How the collectivists and the Kill the Jews crowd understood together they had one common goal: destroying the oppressors in the United States. And they do it. That's where the useful idiocracy comes in. They're never going to understand it until they get a kick in their ass themselves. Look at this video off the University of Texas campus yesterday. This is what I'm talking about, how they just lump everyone together. The Kill the Jews crowd, all of a sudden they hate the cops too. I understand that they love the cops when the cops are enforcing COVID laws. Well, now they hate the cops. KKK, APD, Austin PD, IDF, everybody's in the same group, you get it? Anyone who they think is the oppressor or protecting the oppressor is to be destroyed because they're the permanent victim. They say this on a probably multi-billion-dollar beautiful college campus I've been at, the University of Texas, living in the wealthiest country in the world. They say it, and by the way, as long as you're not breaking any laws, they're free to say that. And yet they see themselves as victims. I'll show you what happened to these people in a minute. Now, I'll give them a little warning. I should watch this video first, because they shouldn't get it. Trying that shit in Texas, probably not a good idea. Helix Sleep. It's great. We love Helix Sleep. I slept good last night because I sleep on a Helix mattress, the Midnight Lux, and I love it. You're missing out if you're not sleeping on it. Helix offers 20 unique mattresses for big, tall, short, wide, and special ones for kids. To find the perfect fit, Helix provides a 190 home sleep shot. No matter your sleeping position, Helix is the answer. Memory foam, hybrid, all the more responsive to the individual with enhanced cooling features to keep you from overheating. Helix is about comfort, care, and great night's sleep.
Oh no.
My Helix mattress is the best I've slept on. It's simple, it's fast, and easy. But don't just take my word for it. GQ and Wired Magazine rated Helix a #1 mattress. Take the Helix Sleep quiz at helixsleep.com and find your perfect mattress in under 2 minutes. As a bonus, Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for my listeners. Go to
Oh my God.
helixsleep.com/Dan and use code HelixPartner20, HelixPartner20. Great mattress, check it out. Best offer yet, it's not going to last long. I sleep on the Helix. Better sleep starts now. Get some deep sleep on the Helix. And our last sponsor today, ladies and gentlemen, Genucell. Genucell Skincare is celebrating their 25th anniversary by giving you an extra 25% off their already awesome Mother's Day sale price. Making this Mother's Day sale, Genucell's biggest sale ever.
Make it.
Right now, get Genucell
Yes.
Skincare's best-selling, most
Holy
popular
crap.
package featuring Gen 90 for immediate results in minutes, and their top-selling under-eye bags and puffiness serum for your 7%. Same thing on all Genucell top-selling products that for younger, more youthful-looking appearance, showing forehead wrinkles and fine lines gone, skin rednesses and dark spots gone too, and help those pesky bags and puffiness disappear right before your eyes. Genucell guarantees you'll see results in less than 12 hours or money back. Celebrate that special woman in your life on Mother's Day with the world's best skincare for once-in-a-lifetime prices for a limited time. Get 70% off plus an extra 25% anniversary discount off top-selling packages during Genucell's Mother's Day sale. Once the sale's gone, it's gone. Order yours now. Get the Genucell Jawline treatment for your contour defined jawline. Limited inventory available at Genucell.com/Dan, Genucell.com/Dan, Genucell.com/Dan. Get a free spa box with 2 bonus gifts, free shipping. Genucell.com/Dan, Genucell.com/Dan. Okay. Folks, I could have saved the Texas Kill the Jews crowd a whole lot of time, money. That may go over well in the Ivy League. You may walk onto campuses and take over and do whatever. By the way, I heard the Harvard ones this morning. I took over Harvard. I'll show you that video in a second. I heard the sprinkler system went off this morning, and it was like 32 degrees at 4 a.m. That's a shame. You hate to see it. That's a real shame. Fellas, would you agree? That's a shame. They were wet. 4 o'clock in the morning. They had to get up early and kill the Jews. And before they scream kill the Jews, it was soaking wet. It's 32 degrees. That's a shame. You genuinely hate to see stuff like that. That's too bad, so sad. But trying that shit at the University of Texas campus wasn't going to work out. I could have warned you. They just should have listened to this video by our good friend Roger Scare, who has a great tutorial on things like fucking around and finding out. Check this out.
Today we're going to talk about how we can find out and how much we can find out and what it takes to get there. So first we have to decide
Oh, crap.
how much do we want to find out. So let's say in this case, I want to find out at a level of 7. Okay, so I find that level on my graph and I come horizontally to my gradient line. Where it intersects with my gradient line, I'm going to come straight down to where it intersects with my fuck around line. Now there's going to tell me how much I have to fuck around to find out what I need to find out. See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out. I hope this lesson is helpful. Thank you.
I could have saved the University of Texas Kill the Jews crowd a lot of time. And by the way, listen, I am an absolute free speech absolutist. If you are not breaking the law, you should be free to protest and do your thing. However, camping out on a college campus and taking over and screaming "Kill the Jews" as a bunch of Jewish people walk by, in any sane person's world, that would be considered a crime. You screaming that you're going to kill me to my face if you're doing said thing is probably a really genuinely awful idea. So they did. It's only incitement if you got a MAGA hat on. So they did find out yesterday. Again, pulling that shit in Texas probably not a good idea. Just would have listened to Roger. I could have saved you a lot of time. However, in the Ivy League, they genuinely don't give a shit. They love this stuff in the Ivy League. Here they did this. These are the people who got frozen out this morning by the sprinklers at 4 a.m. And again, that's a shame. You hate to see it. These poor, young, victimized kids. Look at them. Storming the campus at Harvard. What is Harvard going to do? Probably going to be like, Harvard thinks this is great. Like, look, we can use this in a recruiting video. The Ivy League, folks, listen, on a deadly serious.
Oh, crap.
It's not fun. If you are a parent to a Zionist or Jewish scholar in schools, get your kids out of there. One of them's going to get hurt. Pains me to tell you that in the United States of America, that someone can't freely practice their religion. Judaism, Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, whatever your religion is. We have that thing called the First Amendment and stuff.
190th.
and get your kids out of there tomorrow. And I get the argument, no, I'm going to fight back. It's not about fighting back, it's about your money is going to fund this. There's a difference. You're paying for it. That's the difference. If this was a public place that was free, I'd say yes. Then why are you giving them money? Just stop. Prices are high. And by the way, I was called again a conspiracy theorist. Another one of my conspiracy theories came true. The other day I told you about a little nugget in the foreign aid funding package on page 11 that gave $3.5 billion to a bunch of NGOs to process refugees. Do you have any idea how many people came after us on the show? And he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's a conspiracy theory. Oh, really? Our good friend Stephen Miller, a great guy, says, hey, you know, Republicans in Congress just approved another $3.5 billion to expand and expedite refugee processing. And look at what happened. Mike Davis tweeted out, oh, look, Biden's setting up field offices in Qatar and Turkey to increase capacity for holy shit, you guessed it. Ladies and gentlemen, the flag is up. This is going to be holding 15 yards, unsportsmanlike conduct, 22.5 yards. Look at that. The United States Customs and Immigration Services open international field offices in Qatar and Turkey for refugee processing. It's not like I didn't tell you, but everybody said it was a conspiracy theory. He's very happy. He loves that. He loves it. He's paying a fortune in taxes to give to a bunch of NGOs to process more refugees in the United States. Yes, this is awesome. Fantastic. Are you happy? You're out there. Whatever you do, you're like, what is this little widget thing? We got like a little gavel someone said. Dan Bongino, unapologetically American truth speaker. I didn't even read that. But you're making this thing, you're in the assembly process, you're like this, you're paying like 50% of your money to taxes, and they're giving it to Qatar and Turkey. Process more refugees into the country. For your money. We're doing awesome, folks. Everything's going great. Let's keep pissing at each other's cheering. This is what you're up against. I know. You're fell out like Digiglass. Folks, we're going to have to set a new record. Break the Digiglasses out of here.
My goodness.
We're going to have to get to, what is it, 150 now? If we get to 150 streamers? Help us out.
Holy crap.
Let's give them more money for NGOs.
Oh, wow.
And folks, don't worry about it.
195th
The FBI is
board.
on top of the case with the Kill the Jews crowd, I'm sure. You know, if the Kill the Jews crowd, if they were to morph into Catholics and start defending the pro-life crowd, the FBI would all over this. If they put MAGA hats on, they would 100% be under FBI surveillance. But, you know, screaming Kill the Jews on a college campus, you're like immune from any of that. Here's Christopher Wray telling Les Holt, say, no, don't worry about it. We don't monitor people like that. Oh, really? That's interesting. Here, check this out.
Are you actively monitoring these protests? We don't monitor protests, but we do share intelligence about specific threats of violence.
They don't monitor protests. That's interesting because the Catholic Herald says otherwise. The FBI spied on traditionalist U.S. Catholics from coast to coast. New evidence. Folks, listen, man, they're using a lot of young
What about the Catholic that was arrested by the FBI?
You know, a lot of
Singing hymns.
Fight your enemies, fight for freedom and liberty. When you all show
murder
up at book
clinic.
signings, when I see young men and women show up at book signings
Shit.
under the age of 25, if you know it, if you've met me there, you're the ones I'm giving fist pounds to. I love you all, but I'm just so proud of you
197th.
that despite the pressure to be a collectivist, infanticide supporting, genocide supporting dipshit, you and fought the good fight and decided to fight for freedom and liberty too. They are using you. They are using you. They love useful idiots. I'm begging you please not to be one. I have never seen a video that so sums up where we are right now than this one going viral on social media. This one all over social, all over Twitter. There was a squatter. This guy goes, I know he's a squatter. There's people who take over homes they don't own and just hang out there.
198.
There is so much in this 1 minute. If this doesn't just get the blood boiling, I can't help it. This describes where we are right now. Watch this.
My house, say for a month.
And a half.
And a half. You think you would be entitled to move in?
Well, it's a lot of, I'm not the only one that is squatting. It's a lot of other people on the block, if you want to be technical, you know, and a lot of people encouraged me to do what I'm doing now.
She wants replacement.
Yeah, but I had put a lot of work in here, and I spent a lot of money. I am on a fixed income.
Is that power hooked up legit too?
My power is...
That's not legit.
It's not legit.
No, you still on that power.
I am blessed.
What do you go for?
I receive Social Security.
What happened? The disability?
Yes.
What's your ailment?
I'm not going to say.
No, that's her right.
Is that even real? I don't even know. You know the young lady yesterday saying the whole thing was a joke? It's just like these parodies. The sad thing is they're only funny because they're tragic. And because
200th board.
Yeah, we know people that are doing that, like right now. This is where we are as a country. People are like, oh, it's going to take over someone else's property. Why can't we just print money? Why can't we do all this stuff? Folks, things are changing. I promise you things are changing. They're changing slowly, but things are changing. I know things are changing. That soundbite I played you in the beginning of the show, union workers who vote usually in lockstep with Democrats. I wish they wouldn't. We're the party of the union workers. We are. You built America. We're your party. We always have it. A lot of people are just seeing it now. You're starting to see this transition. Is it bad enough yet for a full change? I don't think so. Are we getting there? We are. Watch this Fox segment, this Pennsylvania on groceries and inflation. There's only so much people are going to put up with. They can't get kicked in the balls 25 times before putting a cup on.
High prices, you go in and get a bag or two, and it's almost $150. And when the President Trump, it was a family could actually afford some groceries. You're so much better in your chart. We had money. We don't have money now.
So I'm going right back to where I was yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. It's my job to put meat on the bone for you before the election. Anyone can talk smack. I want to put meat on the bone and tell you what is actually going to happen to you. And what I'm going to do is, in case there's any doubt out there, if you're a Democrat or a liberal, you hate me, you hate my show, I get it. I don't like you either. It's okay, but I'll put that aside, you put aside for me. I'm going to use your guys' words. Come on. Here is your guy, Joe Biden. He was at a rally, stumbled and mumbled all over himself, screwed up everything again because he can't get out of his own way. Let's put all that aside. The Trump tax cuts, which you all got a tax cut, whether you think so or not, I'll show it to you. He's saying the Trump tax cuts are going to expire, and he's going to put them to bed for good. Okay, but Joe Biden's words, not mine. Meat on the bone. You want to pay higher taxes? Here's your go. Check this out.
By the way, that tax cut expires next year. Now let me tell you something. It's going to stay expired and dead forever if I'm elected. But anyway.
It's not me, folks. It's him. That was Joe Biden yesterday. He's now saying if you win, the tax cuts you got are going to go away. His words. So I went to a nonpartisan site, so I can't be accused of bullshitting you, okay? This is Investopedia. If you're an investor, it is not a political site at all. It is an investment site. That's why it's called Investopedia. There's an article there explaining the Trump tax reform plan. So here are the rates you're going to pay and get back if Joe Biden is elected. The higher rates, meaning your taxes are going to go up. If you were in the top crowd bracket, your old rate was 39.6. Your rate now is 37. So you're going to pay a nearly 3 percentage point higher tax rate. The 33% rate, the level below, that dropped to 32. You're going to pay an additional percentage point. This is just income taxes, by the way. This isn't the corporate tax, capital gains tax. If you were in the bracket below, the 28% bracket, you got a 4 percentage point cut. This is upper middle class. You are going to pay 4% more of your income. And about capital gains and all the other shit he wants, 4%. Because he just said it, okay? The 25% bracket. This is middle class, 25%, it's going to go back up to 25 from 23. 3% more of your income going to the government. And the 15% bracket, second from the bottom, these are not very wealthy taxpayers. You were paying 12%, now you're going to pay 15% on the Biden. 3% more of your money. It's right there, folks. So screenshot it and send it to your friends. It's right there. And by the way, in case you think Biden misspoke, he put out an actual tweet doubling down on your tax taxes are going to go up. The kid sniffing, woman groping, plagiarizing, sociopathic, lying, senile loser said on his own Twitter yesterday Trump was proud of his tax cut, and he lies and he says it benefited the wealthy and big corporations. I just read you the ratings. See, this dipshit's going to lie to you more times than told you no. He says that tax cut's going to expire, and if I'm re-elected, it's going to stay expired. Wall Street Journal telling you to do. If that's what you want, go right. Forget about him being senile, showering with his daughter, raising a son with a crack problem, sniffing kids, groping women, taking bribes from China. Forget about all that. Ukraine, forget all that. If none of that bothers you, if you want to pay higher taxes, vote for this guy. I just told you what your rate is. Just do me a favor to the liberals and Democrats watching the show.
209.
When he crashes the economy if he gets re-elected and your taxes go through the roof, don't you dare come in my chat and start fucking around. Okay, watch the Roger Scare video first. Because I've got no time for your bullshit. But don't sweat it, folks. At least Joe Biden cut the debt. And how we know he cut the debt? I mean, he says so all the time. He did it again yesterday. I cut the debt.
210th.
He says it must be true. He says so. So I said that to Key. I said, Key, at least we can throw a bone to them and say, all right, your taxes are going to go up. But he's using it to lower the debt. If he himself was paying the debt down, it's like, yeah, definitely. Joe Biden said it's true. So Rita's like, yeah, I'm not too sure you're right. She said, I went to the Treasury website, treasury.gov, and she said I took a screenshot. And I decided I was going to put it into the show. And the weird thing about this screenshot, after Rita sent me, is it looks like the national debt has gone up dramatically every single year since Joe Biden's been in office. The national debt has gone up every single year since Joe Biden's been in office. Look at that. Look at that. 22 million, 22 trillion, 26 trillion, 28 trillion, 30 trillion, 33 trillion. I thought it went down. Now, if you notice, guys can vouch for me. This is the Treasury website, treasury.gov. So again, if you're a liberal, I just pointed to you, invest in media, a nonpartisan site, and the Treasury's own website on the debt. So I'm asking you again a simple question. Why do you let this senile kid sniffer bullshit you? Not only is he going to hike your taxes, he's not only not paid down the debt. Since he's been in office, the debt has gone up about $7 trillion. And when he's not absolutely bullshitting you, he's confused. Here he is yesterday reading the teleprompter. Now, I've been in the media business for a while, and I'm not going to tell you I haven't occasionally screwed some stuff up. But one of the things you do all the time in the business is you'll read through cues. Go to break, they'll say, pause. This is what it looks like when you actually read the cues on the actual program. Check this out.
Imagine what we can do next. 4 more years.
He said pause.
React to Joe Biden's. Oh, I'm sorry, that was in the prompter. That was in the prompter. Oh shit! Look, I'm reacting. Just like it says. Folks, nothing is going to tell us true. Nothing.
Imagine what we can do next. 4 more years.
He says pause.
Look how confused he is. Look at this guy. Look at the oatmeal god right here. He looks like he's wetting himself right there. Is he having an accident right there? Check him out. It's like, it always reminds me, every time I see him, I think of that scene of Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga scene in The Star is Born.
What kind of tape?
His pants at the end. I swear, every time I see that, I think, is that why Joe Biden wears dark suits? Someone should put him in
This
the
tape
famous
upstairs, I
Obama
think,
suit
in
that
the
you see
drawer
on
near
Joe
the
Biden's
sink.
Big pissing all over. Look at him. Pause. Hey, wait. It gets better. He told another gem yesterday. that he commuted across a bridge I know well. I lived in Maryland for 10 years plus. The Francis Scott Key Bridge, or as Kareem Jean-Pierre calls it, the Francis Scott King Bridge. And he commuted over this bridge with Amtrak for 36 years. That's incredible. That's incredible. Because there's no rail line on the bridge. But he did it for 36 years. I guess the train went onto a road. Like, that must have been really uncomfortable. And he must be like, look, there's a freaking train on the bridge.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Check
217.
I've been over that bridge a lot. I commuted every day. For 36 years, the U.S. Senator. My wife and daughter were killed. I commute back and forth to meet my boys. And I'm over that area in Baltimore Harbor.
36 years, folks. He commuted over a bridge in a train. 36 years with no railway. It's amazing. I just did a little diversion for him. Because it is Thursday, I want to kind of take a little bit of a temperature. Need a little bit of comfort. Segment yesterday with Chris Christie. Did you guys see that? You want to talk about a lack of self-awareness? He was like, here's Chris Christie at the University of Chicago, where Vito went to school, talking about how Donald Trump is looking a little rough right now in the court. And I want you to pay attention. The buttons on this shirt are doing a lot of work here. Watch this.
Criminal trial is a really awful thing to go through. And if you look at Trump physically right now, he looks terrible.
He looks terrible. This is... Vita says University of Chicago only brings in the good Republicans. You know, McCain's, Mitt Romney's. They're well behaved, right? The dog shooters. Like, they get indulgent. That button, yeah, it's doing a lot of work, isn't it? That bottom one is like screaming for help right now. Like, please help. Chris Christie talking about how Donald Trump looks at Chris, sludge back. Right? He's like, see him, folks? It's like this. You know what
220.
Dogs up on the desk, too. Who's the little guy that sits on Jabba's lap? Salacious Crumb. He knows everything about Star Wars. He even knew the Ewok guy has like a middle initial, doesn't he? Like Warwick. This is crazy. He knows everything about Star Wars.
Isn't it working?
Alright, this is important. Back to the series. Judge Cannon in the documents case, Donald Trump's documents case in Mar-a-Lago. Remember the bullshit search warrant? This case is blowing up, and I mean blowing up in Jack Smith's face and the Biden administration's too. This case is getting uglier by the minute. We had Julia Kelly on the radio show. We're gonna replay the interview on the Sunday weekend show, for the podcast. I encourage you to listen to it. He's on Judge Cannon. She's on unsealing things right now. This is the craziest part of this thing. So, unsealed records in the case note that Jay Bratt, who was Jack Smith's lead prosecutor in the case, that it threatened Stanley Wood, an attorney for one of Trump's aides, Walt Nauta, with sinking a judicial nomination if he didn't get his client to flip on Trump. Do you understand what this means? They wanted someone to flip on Donald Trump and went full mobster on them. Be a real shame if your house burns down. Look at this. This is something unsealed. I wouldn't want you to do anything to mess that up. Jay Brett. I keep saying this. Laser focused on this election. Arizona. Trump's in a courtroom in New York. It's degenerating, and we got Fonnie Willis in Georgia. You've got this travesty of justice with the
To the right.
This is all breaking down right now. There is no time for bullshit. Everybody needs to be focused on winning this election. If you're doing anything else right now, I'm sorry, but your priorities are completely off. Let me think of a better way to explain it. In the chat, man, am I doing it? I'm not sure I'm getting through it. I understand a lot of you are really, most of you are really, really good and decent people. And you want to believe that the people fighting the fight you believe in. Take politics out. Let's say you're in Yankees baseball. You want to believe that the guy cheering for your team is a good guy. If it was Jeffrey Dahmer, the serial killer in Yankee Stadium, sitting next to you, cheering for the Yankees, you're gonna be like, man, this really sucks. We're gonna cannibal.
Can you ask Mom, please?
Let's get this guy on the phone. I get that. That's a pretty.
Try that left drawer. If it's not anything in there, I don't know.
Having said that.
Wait, this
Left drawer.
In this fight ahead, there are a lot of people who are fighting for the same thing you are, who are really not good people. I'm sorry to tell you this, but I've been in this business and ran for office. I've been an activist like you for a long time. I know better than anybody out there. I don't pretend to be the guy with a microphone. That's it. I mean, I was nothing special about me. But I've seen a lot, like any of you. A lot of
228.
people out there that are not good people. Folks, I don't make the case for you. But I'm not a good person. You know, I was watching Deadpool. The Ryan Reynolds movie. And he says, I'm just a bad guy who basically paid to fuck up horse. And I thought, yeah, I guess that's kind of...
Go ask Mom. I don't know. She probably has some.
Not all these people are good people. But the worst people are the police state pirates who destroy this country. That's why I'm asking you. Triage your fights. There's a limited time.
I can't look at you. Please go talk to Mom, okay?
Serial killers or whatever on our side.
And I just got messed up.
But the other stuff is very powerful. Maybe later. The political fire should be conducted in trench warfare. Really important, you all understand. I appreciate you tuning in. If you want to listen to the radio show coming up next on Rumble, we really appreciate it. Rumble.com.
228th.
We'll be there from 12 to 3. And we'll see you back here on the podcast.
Can't put on the next one. Or something. Oh, I messed up. Oh my god. See? Because I'm worried about how it's playing, everything else. Just got stuck. Twice. 229. .230th screen, I believe.
The news cycle. Look, watch, hear the news. Whatever senses you. Lucy was just like that. Lucy would smell them. Just sniff all over. She sees Evita, right over to Evita. She's got it for the pets. Evita gives her the pets. She's like sitting there. Lucy would smell the news. But, you know, we see and hear the news. You ever watch the news and think to yourself, like I was thinking this morning, are these liberals or are they Nazis? Because it's a hard one. It's a tough one. Now,
Hey, Crystal?
why would it take all of the identifiers?
Can you shut this off, please?
You know, just put a computer-generated voice of what these people said and did and made them like perverse cartoon characters, but put no identifiers on them. Would you be able to guess if they were liberals or Nazis? I bet you wouldn't. I bet you wouldn't.
Oh,
Got a lot of show today. What to talk about, libs or not.
this episode is called Fuck Around and Find Out.
I'm getting close, Crystal. I am. I like the way you said that. 238.
I like the way they said.
238th board out of 256. I'm recording too, just so you know. Don't distract me. But thank you, though. No, because you're kissing, you're kissing my neck. I'm like, oh, no. That's a true test of a champion. That's like Robin Hood, right? When she blows at his ear, and he like misses the whole target, misses the tree. Oh boy. It's messed up. Oh, messed up twice. More than that. Oh. Alright. 239. $240. $242nd. shit. Oh. Wow. Oh my god. Holy crap. 245. $246. Hey, Crystal? Crystal! Can you come here, please? Can you... I'll give you my phone in a second. Can you just get it set up to take a picture? And take a picture of the kill screen? No.
Where's your phone?
In my pocket.
Oh, this game is terrible. Can't even see the numbers.
I see the picture of the full screen, Crystal. Picture of the full screen.
I know.
Can you not? No. Okay. Can you back way up, please? There's still like several screens left. Just like take it from far back where you can see the holy crap, the full screen. That was insane. I think I'm at 249. At 256 it happens. I might have missed one or two though. $250.
Happens when?
256. hope I crack 3 million, but it's not important. I just want to get there. See how I skipped that key to try to stay alive? $252.
Okay. 4 left, right?
Getting there. I think so.
Does it only stay up for like 1 second?
Well, I have to survive on it too.
Okay.
Because I've never been on it, so I don't know how to survive on it. There is a way. I've only seen it on video, and I've only seen it in slow original pack, not fast pack. 253 coming up. $254. There it is! Holy crap. Oh, I just died. Get a picture. Thank you. Oh boy. I just went through the wall. Fake dots. I just died again.
You just died again.
I did. Oh, you missed it.
I think I
Bummer.
got it on your phone.
Yeah. Holy
Is
crap.
that the kill screen? Is that what you said?
It is, yeah.
Is that your first time?
My first time.
Nice work.
Sweet. Thanks. That was tough. Made it there with a man to spare, too.
Of course you did.
Hey, look at the bottom. The fruit are all messed
yeah.
up.
It's like a fruit and a key together. See
Yeah.
the keys at the bottom.
Yeah, those are keys, yeah. Oh, wow. Crazy. Oh, I did it. I'll put the light on. I was 2 clicks off. It was 254, so I was off. Yeah, I'll show the board set in its original and real. Just cause. Oh man, I gotta go to bed. It's late. Work is early. Alright. Hopefully the camera doesn't become unplugged. It'll probably shut off. Well, this isn't going on Twin Galaxies anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Well, I just wanted to show you. It's real. 3,027,280. Wow. Split screen. I wish I knew how to, you know, lock them all on the right, and then I can park it. That'd be cool. But alas, I do not. I gotta get the back door open. this thing doesn't like shut off or something because the battery's dead. I have it plugged in. There's my cabinet. My pack. Original board set. I think I have a headlamp on me. I'll light with my phone. You can see it. Original board set. And there's the dips. Right about there. Give you a little light. Proper settings. Sweet. Kill screen on my pack cabinet. Sweet.